Yeah, new numbers, the best one.
You have a Norwegian now,
Yeah, I've switched.
completely incorporated into the culture. Yeah.
Yeah, I needed a Norwegian number because it's linked to everything.
Yeah.
Literally,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
I have
trying.
I have a friend in Germany who still refuses to get a mobile phone,
Oof.
and life is becoming increasingly difficult for him. Because without a mobile phone, you can't do anything.
That's the only way they can track us.
Yep. Yeah. Pretty much so. Pretty much so.
Um,
And yeah.
um, right, give me one sec. You're in Spain right now.
Good afternoon, everybody, and
welcome
welcome
to
to the live commentary of the second game of the match between Grandmasters Felix Blohberger and David Navara. I'm Alex Cholovic, the official commentator of the match, and today I am joined by the one and only, the legend of the commentating world, David Howell. No special introduction needed. David, welcome.
Thank you, Alex. I'm excited to be here. It's a fun match, and yeah, I'm hoping we get another good game, just as intriguing as yesterday's round one.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we will. I mean, we're professionals, right? I checked the openings of both players, obviously, and I'm actually quite curious to see what's going to happen in the opening in this game because David can play any first move basically, whereas Felix's repertoire is also quite wide, but I kind of get an impression that he's more conservative against e4 when he can play c5, e5. Rarely the French, I doubt it. So I'm just curious, in which direction David will take the game.
Yeah, I mean, I've played both of these players a little bit, and I have a feeling David. I mean, he's usually quite ambitious, but it is early in the match, so wow, we see a move.
No,
I don't know if that's
no,
the ceremonial
can't be.
first move.
They're testing the board. I'm pretty sure. Can't be this.
Okay, just checking, just checking. That would be a
Yeah,
fun
I'm
one to
pretty sure.
start with.
No, I mean, they started at 3 p.m. It's still not 3 p.m. So I think this is not the move. Yeah.
Yeah,
Somebody
and
fooling around. Yeah.
I'm expecting e4 from David just to see which direction Felix is going. You know, early in the match, you kind of want to get some kind of impression about how your opponent's feeling, how provocative they're going to be, how solid they want to be. So yeah, I'm hoping for some maybe e4, e5, and we go from there.
That will be nice to see. Yeah, that'll be nice to see. And okay, I'll be asking you questions about match strategy and so on because I'm pretty sure you have vast experience there. And yeah, but this is a relatively short match, 6 games. Do you think the players still have some, let's say, as you say, some time for probing here and
Mhm.
there, or they just go directly where they have intended to go to?
Ooh, good question. I guess they've both prepared like their main weapons, like whatever it is, whether it's e4. I mean, Felix maybe going for this kind of Queen's Gambit stuff and ideas against the Rogozin, Queen's Gambit decline stuff. But yeah, I think they'll come with one weapon. But then if it doesn't work the first time, like if Navara gets zero advantage here, then he's probably got I don't know, a secondary thing in mind. It's hard to, yeah, I've played a lot of matches. It's hard to
Uh-huh,
kind of come prepared with 10 different ideas and
uh-huh.
unleashing them. Of course, like you say, it's a short match. So I think we'll see the players kind of battle mainly on one opening, but with some maybe small switch ups later in the game.
And in your opinion, in modern chess, what is easier? To prepare, let's say, a surprise within one opening. So let's say you go Spanish, but you don't try one line, I don't know, and then it's not working, and then you try another line in the Spanish, or to completely switch, like to go maybe one d4, or maybe Reti or English or whatever. Because I remember in the past, okay, let's say Kasparov Karpov, right? They were just going in their openings, but they were deviating within those openings. But nowadays players are kind of more easily kind of prepared to switch even on move one. So what's your impression in modern chess?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I mean, I guess like from my own experience, my main fear is getting hit like early. So I always switch up my first moves.
Uh-huh.
Even in open tournaments, I mean matches even more so. Although it's been a few years since I played a match, but yeah, I mean even open tournaments, I'll try and play e4, d4, c4, everything
Uh-huh.
just to keep my opponents guessing. But I mean the most recent World Championships, like Gukesh against Ding, they were switching up the first moves. Gukesh
Yeah.
started with e4, kind of met the French, had some trouble there, then took him several rounds before he came back to e4, started playing totally other stuff, retis. So I think
Yeah.
the players, like you say, they're switching as early as possible nowadays. The earlier the surprise, the more time they might force their opponents to burn off the clock in the early stages.
Okay, yeah, nice. Yeah, thanks for the explanation. That's really, I mean, good insight. Yeah. But it
Yeah.
just, I think it's a sign of the times. Yeah, because nowadays it's also even easier to prepare like pretty much everything.
Yeah, and yeah, it's crazy nowadays, Alex. Like I'll speak to anyone, like even the fans, even kind of casual players, club players, and they know everything about everything. It's wild. But okay, it looks like we have some moves.
Yeah, we have some moves. Queen's Gambit declined. All right.
And
Classical stuff.
yeah, which variation are you expecting? Uh, I
Hard to
guess
say.
Felix. Yeah,
Hard
Felix
to
would
say.
choose maybe.
Yeah, I think okay, it's either Queen's Gambit declined or the Catalan. I don't think there are any other options. I mean, yeah, I mean maybe semi-Slav by some move orders, maybe semi-Tarash, but you know,
Mhm,
when I made my course for Chessable here for White, one d4, I recommended cd5 immediately instead of knight c3.
mhm,
And the point, is to avoid this semi-Tarash, this Sharachening thing.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
famous stuff.
also the semi-Tarash knight f6, cd knight d5.
Okay.
So you give up some options after CDD maybe, but you gain some other, you avoid some others. So it's always I mean,
Hmm.
give and take, yeah.
Yeah, and
And,
do
and
we
one
have?
one more option, in fact, DC4.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, E4, C5. They started playing this lately, and it's doing quite all right. There was Erdomus was playing, had some game or two in this, D5 and ED and so on. So, I mean, things are not as simple as in the past, when everybody was expecting knight f6 or bishop e7.
That's true. I started playing the Queen's Gambit decline myself a few years ago, and
Uh-huh.
nobody ever took on d5 against me, so I was kind of able to prepare quite deep, forcing lines. But nowadays, modern computers, they say, like you suggest in your course, like c takes d5, and a few years ago, everyone was like, "Wait, you can't let black's light squared bishop out. It comes
Exactly,
out to
exactly,
f5 now." And but now,
exactly.
yeah, modern computers say yeah, white can still fight for an advantage
Yeah,
even
it's
there.
fine. I mean, for me, the revelation was that when the bishop comes to f5, you can always harass it. Knight f3, knight h4, with g4, with e4, with knight e2, knight g3, all these kind of things. And even the dullest thing, bishop d3 exchange, and then you get a knight maybe on f5 or something, some pressure always.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, theory develops here. But here we have the classical QGD, right?
Hmm. And what do you think if white plays? I mean, there's Queen C2 to stop bishop f5, or at
Yeah,
least delay bishop f5. There's e3.
yeah.
Um, could we see an endgame maybe e3, bishop
Oh,
f5,
you would love
queen
that, wouldn't you?
f3? I mean, I would love it, but I'm not sure the fans would love it. I don't
There
know.
we go. There we go. You're calling it. Bishop
Oh,
f5 now, yeah?
big moment.
But
It's a good move, but it's committal.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Bishop f5 now, and okay. We should all thank Kramnik for that. Yeah, he was the one who brought it into the limelight. But I'm pretty sure you followed that game. You probably commentated on it. The candidates, Blue Baum
Mhm.
was with Black against Giri, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken. Yeah, when they got
long
this
maneuvers.
end game, and I remember. There you go, my man David. Yeah, well done, well done. You know your players. And
Yeah.
I think Gustafsson was who said that the game lasted, I don't know, 60, 80 moves. I don't know how long. And he says Blue Bomb was in preparation until the end. He knew where the pieces were going, he knew what was going on.
Hmm. And
Yeah,
I remember Peter Svidler as well, who was commentating with Jan Gustafsson. They were
yeah.
trying to trace at some point, like move
I
60 something. They were trying to trace which knight started on G1, which knight started on V1, and they had to
not
go the
possible.
whole way, the whole way back.
Not possible.
Okay,
No, but
endgame.
this is very good, in fact, I think, because we'll be illuminated by your deep understanding of endgames and the ideas in this endgame. Because probably for most people, the first game that comes to mind is the amazing win by Carlsen against Kramnik. With
Mhm.
this maneuver 92 and so on, knight
Yeah.
f3, knight h4, and then 92 and so on.
Mhm.
Okay, theory evolved since then, and nowadays it seems to me that black holds the draw fairly easily,
Mhm.
but I'm pretty sure there are some subtleties in here.
Yeah. I'm sure if David Navara is going into this, then he's got some kind of setup that he thinks
Uh-huh.
might be uncomfortable or that maybe Felix hasn't exactly prepared. I mean, it's funny because you mentioned, I mean, like using my deep understanding. I've never actually studied this line because as black, I just hate damaging my pawn structure.
Oh,
Like, and I feel like as black, you're mainly just playing for dabbled.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so this exact position, I know a little bit. I've looked at it
Uh-huh.
actually as a second, but as a player myself, I've never dared touch it.
Yeah, this h4, for example, already is a bit. I mean, Carlsen, I think he played knight f3, right?
Yeah,
And knight
and
h4.
knight h4, and then very quick knight e2, and
Yeah,
even
knight
allowed
h2.
like
Yeah.
he even allowed bishop b4 check, just happy to put his king on d1 and
Yes,
brought his
yes,
knight round.
yes. Um,
Hmm.
but h4, h5, okay. There is also h6. I remember maybe you were on the same team in this. That I remember Laurent Fressinet. He
Hmm.
also plays this with black a lot.
Hmm.
And probably, I mean, like I said, preparing for Carlsen and I mean for the matches and so on. He also very often put the pawn on h6 instead of h5.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting because the pawn on h5 can become very weak, right? Like because it's on a
Yeah,
light
just
square, white has
imagine
a
knights
bishop.
coming to like bishop on f3, knight on f4, another one on g3, and you have three attacks. Yeah.
Hmm. But then I guess maybe we can show it like if h6, then the black bishop is less stable and it's more likely it's going to be forced to exchange it off. Yeah, I'm not sure whether knight comes to f4 first and let's say knight d7, knight f4 maybe. And yeah, if the bishop ever goes back, bishop d3, I think black always wants to exchange the bishops by
Yeah.
kind of ideally leaving them on g6 or
Aha.
here. I guess black gets very quick f5, knight f6, knight e4. But if white is able to control f5
Aha.
before black getting this, then I think it's supposed to be a
So
big
so
gain.
so what you're saying is that black would like to have a pawn on f5 in these structures.
If
Yeah.
only if the bishops get exchanged,
Aha.
like without black playing f takes g6, if that makes sense.
But I
Uh,
remember also seeing there was this World Championship match in the women's. Was it Juvenjun Goryachkina maybe or something? When we actually,
mm,
and there was also an Anand game, if I remember correctly, like the bishop on g6, pawn on f5, h5, the bishop was completely dead, but he still held the draw fairly easily.
yeah,
I
I've
mean,
also seen games like that, so I think you're right.
yeah,
Because like white eventually, the only way to break through if black just puts a pawn on f5 now is to do something on the queen side, but black's got the majority there. Black will play
yeah,
a5. It's very hard to break through.
yeah. Black usually also advances there themselves, like h5, g5, b5 maybe. Yeah, so it's not so easy, right?
Hmm. But okay, king to d2, and you mentioned h4 is a bit rare. Just going to check on the database.
Yeah.
Wow,
And,
Fresnay has played this a bit. You're right, quite a bit. Lots of, I mean, it's only grandmasters it seems who
yeah, yeah,
play
yeah.
the system with both
This is
colors.
so depressing. Must be so depressing for regular folk.
I don't know. These days, I'm trying to, Alex, I'm trying to like corrupt all the casual players into enjoying these types of positions, the long
Oh,
grinds,
you're doing your work, yeah?
trying. I mean, it's hard to convince them that kind of going for attacking, fun, sacrificial chess isn't the way, but
Yeah,
this is how a lot of pros play, so it can't be that bad.
yeah, yeah. Well, you have a high mountain to climb convincing people in this, you know. Do that.
Okay, knight d7. Yeah, what do we think White's setup is going to be then? Bishop on d3, knights on f4.
Do you want to exchange this bishop? I mean,
Hmm. Yeah,
or
that's the
no?
thing. White wants to control f5, maybe
Aha. So you want to go
before,
bishop d3, let's say takes,
yeah, maybe f5, knight f6,
and
very
then
quickly.
maybe put the
Yeah,
knight on g3,
bishop d6, I guess.
bishop d6. It's not so easy, right?
Hmm.
Okay, he played bishop d3 though.
Okay,
So going in that direction.
good move. And oh, yeah, I'm looking at the database and it's like 90% draw rate from this
Yeah,
position.
there you go. So I mean, okay, we have to commend Felix then because he chose a really solid weapon
Hmm.
with black, right?
Yeah.
Like beat me if you can, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that's a good strategy, I think, in a match. And that's the thing, I guess, Felix, because he's now, I mean, he's so young and he's making his way up. Like most of the time he's playing open tournaments and
Yeah,
he won't be playing lines like this because you can't afford to draw against a low rated opponent. But
exactly.
yeah, here against someone super strong like Navara, I think it's a good idea.
So, I mean, and you probably witnessed the frustration that Magnus had in Dubai in his last match against Nepo when he was also struggling against rock solid opening repertoire, like with that Nepo had, like Queen's Gambit Decline, Mainline Catalan, like rock solid, and Petrov against E4. And then he was forced to go for some stuff like B3, G3, right? And famous game six. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, from a professional point of view, it's understandable what he did and why he didn't want to go over that again and again with every next World Championship match where people just try to play for a draw against him. But then things change because people stop playing for draws against each other. You know, they just play for a draw against him. And I think it's a bit unfair, but I mean, that's what you get when you're number one and a world
Mhm.
champion. So
Exactly.
nowadays, people like that's my impression at least that people are more open to more open fight. I mean, not just
Mhm.
playing the dullest openings like or just Berlin, this type of Queen's Gambit declined and just playing for a draw, but to play for something more.
Yeah. I mean, you're definitely right. Like the Berlin, I used to play it all the time and I used to see it every round of every tournament, but now it's like it's it's not as if it's non-existent, but I mean it's definitely out of fashion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, even like in the last like Nepo Neiman match, Neiman tried it, lost the game. Yeah, so maybe I mean people lost the taste, you know, for the Berlin, like just
Mhm.
I mean wanting to be a bit more active, perhaps, or let's go for other types of positions.
Yeah, my theory is that there's just so many players out there and closed tournaments or kind of one-on-one matches are so rare nowadays that I mean, yeah, it's a mindset thing. Like people have to play for wins. That's the only way to stand out. Like that's the only way
Yeah,
to win prizes, to make money, to survive. So
yeah, good
um
point.
okay, bishop d3. I guess black can there's no rush to take on d3. You can start with bishop d6 or something.
But is the F5 a move?
Ooh,
Ugly, yes, but I
ooh.
just want to get the knight to E4 and or something like that.
hmm You're a braver man.
Uh,
Let's say g3 maybe. And f3. I don't know. Don't really want to allow
Okay,
knight
now
e4.
we hold the fort.
Yeah. And white can put a knight in f4, and I don't know whether you ever take it or not,
Yeah,
but
just take. Okay, beat me if you
yeah.
can. Yeah,
Yeah, that bishop's so bad on g6 though.
yeah.
I don't
Bishop's
know.
awful, but then you have to somehow break through. Yeah,
Let's say g takes maybe
take
f4.
some A5 or whatever. Yeah.
hmm Rook g1.
Go there. Ah, yeah. There was this maneuver. You have to get to D6 by the time the rooks gets there, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and white tries to get like the knight to d3 somehow, or maybe not a4. I don't
Yeah,
know.
knight F4. Yeah, knight F4 maybe is a bit trickier to meet now. Yeah.
King c7. It's still fine probably.
Still, yeah. I mean,
Oh, Alex, we're gonna be here for 6 hours.
no. Let's hope not. Okay, let's see. Okay, maybe he hasn't played F5. So I mean.
hmm
But in that Giri Bluebaum game, Giri did Bluebaum didn't play F5, did he?
Eventually the light squared bishops, like there was like maneuvering for like 40 moves, and then eventually the light squared bishops came off, and then he just went f5. I think the black king came to like g6 just to protect that
Yeah.
pawn, and then knight came to f6, e4, d6. He just played knight f6, e4, knight f6, e4, knight
Yes,
e4
yes, yes,
for
yes.
like eternity. Um,
So you think that's what Felix is hoping for today?
I think a draw on your first black, I mean, it would be a good result, but
Yeah.
yeah, ideally he won't want to suffer too much, I guess. Hmm.
Yeah, but
And
it's curious. Look, I mean, if you look at the times, he started thinking in a line he chose. Okay, maybe he was a bit surprised by the H4, I don't know, but still, you prepare this for a match. You look at all the options, and I mean, it's kind of why would you think he would be thinking early on?
yeah, I mean, I totally understand. Like, even positions that I know, I end up thinking for like 20 minutes and then I suddenly wake up and I'm like, wait, was I asleep? What was I thinking about?
So what are you thinking about?
Yeah, I guess sometimes it's just kind of getting in the zone. Like, maybe he
Ah,
also prepared against Navarra playing like e4 and some super sharp lines,
ah,
and maybe it's the mindset. He's like, okay, I'm here for a fight. Suddenly he's here, and he's like, okay, now it's going to be much more solid. And
all right.
I think I'll get concerned if he starts spending over 20 minutes now. But
Ah,
yeah,
all right.
maybe he looked at something similar, not exactly this, and he's just trying to compare the differences or trying to remember. Um,
Always something to think about. You see.
yeah, and Yeah, you don't want to think too
unfortunately.
much. Like the top players nowadays think for way too long. Something's happened. Like everyone, first surprise, they think for half an hour. I think they're just scared of the computer or psychological stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But uh, but yeah, a few minutes here is fine, I think. Bishop d6, I'm predicting. Just no.
No, he
Oh,
took.
okay. I was gonna say no commitment, but now big commitment.
Right. Okay. There is. Okay, guess there is logic because the king will have to drop back the later on because knight would likely come to e would like to come to d3.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I don't know about you, Alex, though, but my mindset is that like bishop takes d3, he can play any time. But
aha,
now he's kind of shown Navara his hand because I don't think Navara was ever going to take on
aha,
g6.
aha. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because
Yes,
it's kind
yes.
of like play useful moves first, like bishop
Yeah,
d6,
yeah,
king
yeah.
e7,
Makes
and
sense.
then
Yeah,
decide like wherever your opponent puts the pieces. Maybe
yeah. Of
they
course.
lose some options in the meantime.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. Flexible mindset, of course.
Well, because now I wonder, for example, if f5, which black probably plays at some point before white plays like knight e2, knight g3, then I was wondering about like rook h3 or something.
With these ideas, yeah.
Yeah. Because now I want, well, of course, knight f6, but now rook f3, so it has to be
Yeah,
something
yeah.
else.
So we go bravely into
King,
the.
yes. And
But
now
then I'm not sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
knight h3, exactly. Exactly.
not sure. Yeah. Maybe need to put the king on f6, which looks not so great,
Hmm.
and then maybe to g6. But
Yeah, and I guess e4 is either very good or it's very bad
yeah,
for white.
e4. Yeah, yeah. Not sure.
But
Yeah,
yeah, but this is the trouble sometimes, like showing your hand too early. Like you have to start calculating a bit.
yeah, yeah. True.
Mm, yeah, and maybe
G5,
knight
G3.
g3 or rook g3 or yeah. Actually, rook g3 might be a bit annoying as well.
Is that the mate?
Knight g5. Mm,
Yeah, yeah.
oof,
Losing 20 moves not the best idea.
yeah. Maybe not king g6 is still fine, but who knows?
Yeah, yeah.
You definitely don't want to risk this. Uh,
Yeah, so okay. Maybe okay, he needs to think. Maybe start with bishop this. Okay, rook g8.
mhm. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, now you don't have rook. If you go with g3, there is no rook h3, rook f3. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I see his point now.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
makes a lot of sense. So I guess G3,
Maybe now
probably
I find
G3.
it.
Hmm. And now
Bishop
F5. Yeah.
d6 first. I don't know right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
knight to f6, bishop to d6.
Yeah. Looks healthy enough. Bishop controls dark squares. Pawns control light squares.
Yeah. You can't re-target the pawn on f5.
Hmm. I have a question. Like G3 is probably what white should do, but what about knight E2 or knight
Yeah, I
H?
was briefly wondering that. I was not sure like what happens there. And
Yeah,
now if you want to go knight g3 or knight f4, I wasn't sure.
yeah, but F2 is also hanging, although the rook
Yeah,
might
f2
get
is king.
trapped.
That's the main problem.
Knight F4, rook takes F2, rook B1. I don't
You want to trap the knight.
Knight
The
H3
rook.
coming, or knight GF H3 coming.
Yeah, yeah. So this and this. Oh, well, I don't know. Go.
Oh, still gets out.
Yeah, maybe rook g1 and then king e2. But okay, I mean, what's going on here? Let's see.
Hmm.
Something like this. No, sorry. Maybe rook g1. Yeah?
Well, knight, yeah, yeah, rook
But,
G1 or maybe knight takes H5 as well.
oh,
Last
well,
move.
that's also an option.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe instead of rook G1, just knight takes H5, threatening
Okay,
king E2.
maybe I just move the king and now,
Hmm. King E2.
so this, I guess, no?
Hmm.
No, but this should be good for white, right?
Yeah, black's a bit slow to get the knight to E4.
Yeah, and this one is weak, so we can go something like this maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
this is some okay. Q1 G3 still.
Ah, he went G3. Ah, fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, this can be a kind of addictive, very early in the game you spot some curious line that you maybe know it's not really theory, but it looks interesting enough. And then
Mhm.
you kind of doubt yourself, should I go for this or should I just stick to what I know?
Exactly.
You spend a lot of time then.
Yeah. I'm trying to think like how white should set up now. Hmm. I mean, this is going to look very similar to that Giri game. Like,
Uh-huh.
it could end up looking very close to that. Like, if the white king comes over, like just defends the F2 pawn, the white knight start running around, black just sits.
Yeah, black sits here.
Hmm. And Alex, how well do you know Felix as a person, as a player?
Not much, honestly. No, I mean we've only communicated online
Hmm.
briefly, and that's pretty much about it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
What do
I
you
don't
make of?
even David. I mean, no, I've known him for a longer period of time, but not too
Mhm.
personally. I mean, we've met at
Mhm.
tournament, chatted a little bit, and that's pretty much about it. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure you know them much better.
I think maybe yeah, David Navara I know quite well. Like I mean, we played first time like nearly 20 years ago, and
Oh,
uh, we haven't actually played that much. I think he stopped me from getting to the World Cup once in a playoff at the European Championship. So
yeah,
but he was so nice about it. He was like apologizing to me. He was like, "I'm so sorry. Like you'll qualify next time."
yeah,
And I was just there like, "Oh, great. You just crushed my dreams."
yeah,
No, but super. I mean, of course, one of the nicest guys in chess, and I've sat
yeah.
next to him so many times during games. Like he's just a genius on the board, especially when it's a bit more dynamic. But Felix, I don't know so well. Like we chatted a bit once. I think we played once at the Olympiad in 22,
Uh-huh.
but just a brief analysis after that. And no, I mean these days I watch quite a few of his videos, so I was quite keen to come and support the match. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I don't know him so well personally.
But and based on, but I suppose you have looked at his games. What's your impression of his style, for example?
Yeah, I mean, in general, it's quite principled. Like, I've seen him take quite significant risks in some games. I think when it's many years ago now, 2022, but when I was preparing for him, I thought, okay, his openings are very good. He's very hard to beat. Like, I ended up playing the Italian, like, and then just total freestyle from like move six because I had no idea what to
Uh-huh.
do with white, and it became quite sharp and mutual time trouble. And I think I got the impression that maybe the longer games. I mean, that's my style anyway. You know me. Like
Yeah.
longer games, maybe I could grind him down in some positions, but I don't know. He looks quite well rounded, and
Uh-huh.
of course, like I was watching him in the World Cup against was it Yu Yang Yi, and he was so impressive. Like kept striking back, and
Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, I think like he's generally quite well rounded, but of course, like everything can be slightly better, and maybe we'll see those small improvements over
Yeah, yeah,
time. And
he's young. I mean, that's why he's playing this match. I mean, it's an attempt to meet stronger opponents on a more regular basis so that he can improve, right? His goal is to
yeah,
reach 2600 and then take it from there. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
I figured out the best way to reach 2600 quickly for Felix.
which
He,
is
he needs to play me in a match and just and then he'd take all my points for sure.
the infamous farming. Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to find a retired like
Retired. Yeah. Yeah.
retired GM like me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Retired player. This
but
is what I said yesterday, like when I was on the stream with Kostya Kavutsky and we spoke about like being active players and so on.
mm,
Then I just realized yesterday I said it, but it was not so long ago that I realized that my last tournament actually was in 2019, the
oof,
European individual in Skopje, by the way. Yeah,
okay.
so that's my last tournament. Okay, ever since then I've only played leagues. Okay, so
Mhm.
just league games. Yeah, but tournament 2019.
Wow. Do you miss it? Like it's a different like atmosphere, right? Tournaments. Do you
Yeah,
miss
yeah. I mean, look,
playing?
the thing is that I have very conflicting feelings about tournament chess, because like whenever I was playing, I was very professional about it, preparing, the mindset, getting ready, and before the tournament, some preparation. Okay, being a professional player, you do it all the time, but it was this mindset that you're a professional, you take your work seriously, and you go there and you try to win prizes, whatever, norms, money, what it is, yeah. But ever since then, okay, I'm out of the circuit. I'm not playing, and now I'm thinking. I remember I enjoyed playing in tournaments, but I also enjoy the whole process, the whole atmosphere of preparation, the grind, the mindset, the fighting, and everything. But now, if I'm supposed to play a tournament, I realize that I think Kasparov has said it also, like you need to take a month or so out of your life to actually prepare, like to get into the mindset, to get the brain working, work maybe on openings, work on end games, whatever it is, so that you come to the tournament with the mindset, with the preparation that you were used to, which was normal to you before. And to achieve that when you're out of it, like I said, you need a lot of time out of your life, which you cannot afford normally. Yeah, we have our different lives now, families, other obligations, commitments, and so on. So in a way, yes, I miss it, but then I also realize that yeah, if I just go and play randomly, I will hate it because I won't feel well. I'll be blundering. My head won't be working properly, and it just won't be what I want it to be. So that's my feeling when it comes to playing again.
Yeah.
I
I
know how it is with you. You play more often, but
oof, barely. I mean, these days it's just leagues, and I play lots of Rapid and Blitz, but
uh
minimal classical. I mean, my last classical tournament was oof, like a year and a half ago, maybe. No, maybe
oh,
more now. Like so, end
uh
of 2024. So long, long time.
London
But
class.
yeah, I feel the same as you. Like exactly the same there. Like I don't feel as sharp as I was or locked in as I was, and then I start to doubt myself, and then I think about my opening prep, which is
Yes.
terrible compared to what it used to be, and
Yeah, yeah,
and then it's just that feeling of not being able to kind of read like you know what your peak was, you know what your strengths were, and that everything's slightly like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
less sharp nowadays. So
Exactly.
yeah, the 20s. That's why Felix now is his time. He's in his
Now is his
20s. He's
time.
got
Yeah, yeah.
time.
Now
He
is
can
the
take the
time.
month off from life to to
Yeah, yeah,
lock in.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, in this context, I mean, just yesterday or 2 days ago, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I reposted a cross table of the Beal 2001, I think, tournament,
Okay.
which Korchnoi won at the age of 70.
Oof.
The players were Gelfand, Svidler, Grishchuk, uh, a few more like super top guys, and
Mhm.
Korchnoi wanted Seoul, like Seoul first place. And then I mean, James Altucher, the entrepreneur, the investor, author
Yeah.
also, he asked me, like, do you think somebody could do this today? I said, no, no, because I mean, first of all, nobody will be playing at the age of 70 nowadays
Hmm.
at that level, yeah, or play at all, yeah, and it can't be just anybody. I mean, it has to be somebody who is already a super strong player. He asked me, could Anand do this? And I said, yeah, he could if he did all the work, but he doesn't want to
Hmm.
do all the work. Coach Noy
Yeah.
was really a dedicated person. Yeah?
A
So
chessaholic. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I don't think that's possible anymore.
Hmm. Yeah, especially like nowadays, like everything's a bit faster. It's more like a sport. There's tournaments
Yeah.
every week. Like maybe if players played like a little bit less, like one big tournament a month, they could save
Uh-huh.
some energy. And but yeah, I mean, if it's fast time controls, blitz, rapid, being 70 and winning something, that would be another level of impressive. But yeah, I mean, Korchnoi was a kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
freak of nature. I sat next to him when he was 80 and he beat Caruana in
Oh, yeah,
Gibraltar.
yeah. Gibraltar, yeah, the famous
Yeah.
game. Yeah, yeah.
I was sitting next to that board and I was like, what? He's just totally outplayed like the world number two or whatever it was.
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
One of the world's
exactly.
best players, 2800 and just incredible.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Or even like also you can mention Smyslov. Yeah, at the age of 63, he reached the candidates final playing Garry Kasparov. Yeah, well, in an attempt to challenge Karpov for the world championship title. Imagine now somebody winning the candidates at the age of 63. Or,
wow.
or playing for first at candidates. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching the British Championship playoff last year and it was, I think like 58-year-old Stuart Conquest
Oh,
versus
Stuart Cook, yeah, amazing run.
50,
Yes,
55 year old 54-year-old Mickey Adams. So they were still
they were still there.
still still teaching the kids how to
Yes,
play,
yes,
but
yes.
it does get harder. It does get harder for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, yeah, this position, like, I was wondering if we try and not recreate the Giri game, but it's a very similar pawn structure. Almost the exact same pawn structure. I can kind of check it because,
Yeah, yeah.
um, okay, well, yeah, let's make some moves then. For example, like king, well, not king e2, but okay, knight f3 for white maybe.
Right?
Knight
Bishop.
f or bishop d6, yeah, or knight
Okay, okay.
f6. Let's say king e2, knight f6, knight e1, knight e4, knight d3, something like this. And if black just plays, yeah, king e7, rook, let's say hc1. I'm going to pretend that there wasn't any bishop takes g3. I don't think there was, but
Yeah, right.
a5. I mean, this is pretty much what Giri had against Bluebaum. These are quite
Yeah.
natural moves, and it was just so hard for white to break through.
Yeah,
Black plays like rook a7
yeah,
and
rook a7, rook a8, just to make sure that the a file can't be open. Like a3 b4 never happens because you take and you have a strong presence on the a file. So
Mhm. And I remember during commentary, I came up with like one setup where white might be able to break through with b4. You needed to go
uh-huh.
like rook c2, b3, a3, knight b1, rook
Yes, yes.
a2, and like it's so convoluted and so weird. But maybe white can try some breakthrough. But ultimately, I think it's just rock solid for black to the
Yeah,
point
like
where
a
it's
fortress,
hard to
yeah.
even try. Hmm.
And if knight f4, do you take or you just defend the pawn?
Oh, good question. I think I would use the same strategy I suggested earlier, just like unless you really, really need to take, then delay it as long as
Uh-huh.
possible.
So defend,
Force
yeah.
white to burn 30 minutes on the clock trying to figure out how to force you to take it. Yeah, that.
Maybe now that the rook is the kind of tied to the defense of this
Mhm.
pawn, maybe now I tried something on the, I don't know, b3, a3 stuff. Like
Yeah,
try to do that, yeah. Like I don't know, somehow I don't know.
it's very hard. Yeah, I mean, black can even put a bishop on a3 and slow white right down.
Yeah, that's also
Actually,
annoying.
maybe that's, oops,
I want
quite
to
strong.
blunder the exchange, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, maybe rook c2 before b3, and then
Yeah,
yeah,
rook c2,
just
yeah.
in that Bluebaum game though, Bluebaum clearly prepared everything, like you said earlier. Let's say he put a king on h6, which was maybe the best way to liberate the black rook on
Yeah,
h8.
yeah, yeah. That's a good idea, yeah. So we go there.
Yeah. Okay. What do you make of we talked about Felix spending time on the clock, but now
Yeah,
it's
now,
White's turn. Oh, he's just played knight f3.
okay,
Knight
they,
h3.
they are equal more or less on the clock by now. So I would assume independent play more or less has started, even though, of course, they know the main ideas and so forth.
Hmm.
So it goes knight h3. Yeah, it's.
Hmm.
And again, the question, do you go bishop d6, maybe you take, or you just keep it flexible, not take?
Yeah, maybe just leave the knight on f6 even and just defends
Or,
everything.
oh yeah, or just knight f6, yeah, and just keep the knight there, not rush with knight e4, yeah?
Yeah, just and then like a5, bishop d6, king e7.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, maybe yeah, after bishop d6, let's say like I don't know, rook a b1 or
Which one?
rook a b1 maybe. I don't
A, e1.
a b b
Here
for
you.
yeah,
So
b for
a5?
Blohberger. Yeah, I
Uh,
was gonna say like knight a4 maybe, but still
but I
not
know
really doing
that
much.
sometimes they even do this, right?
Hmm.
In a4.
Yeah, proper fortress.
Yeah, yeah. Still the king to defend this one, or just rook somewhere and like,
Yeah,
how do you go
king.
forward? Yeah,
Very hard to imagine white making progress here.
yeah.
I guess the knight comes to d3 at some point, but hmm,
But then maybe it would be cynical and taking.
yeah. I mean, talking of cynical, what are your predictions now? Do you think Navarro is going to be able to even create any problems for that for black?
I mean, it's hard. I mean, he will try for sure, yeah.
Hmm.
But whether he manages, it's another question. But also, I think a lot depends on on Black, on Felix, because I think that to play successfully this type of opposition, you really need a mindset that's required, like to be patient, not to rush, to be content sitting in the next 6 hours here, moving your pieces left and right, you know, be calm and like. So it's also a character thing. Like, I mean, I don't think you can put I don't know, King's Indian or Benoni player and give him this position and tell him, okay, so play this for the next 5 hours. Yeah, they'll just freak out. So it's
Yeah.
also a thing of psychology. Like you can choose these types of openings, but then you have to have the mindset to correct mindset to play them because it's not like
I call it the grind set. The
yeah,
grind
the
set you
grind
need.
set. Yeah, I was going
Just
to
dig in
ask you
deep.
about this. I remember I actually noted it because I remember the game, but I wasn't sure where you played it. 2017. I'm pretty sure you'll remember the game. Last round of the St. Louis Winter Classic, Rui
Um,
Feng. You know,
yeah.
and I remember that game because I commentated maybe for British Chess Magazine for something, and uh, you reached endgame at move 13. Then a few moves later, you won the exchange, and then you won in 129 moves with the black pieces. You won the tournament. But
Yeah.
the most amazing part for me was that you played, I think, around 80 moves or so on increment time.
Yeah.
I don't know, you,
It's
you spent your time gratuitously in the beginning, and then you played 80 or so moves on increment time, and you displayed fantastic technique, and you won this very hard to win end game. That was like for me, man, this is the grind set.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I wish I could say that I recommend this strategy to people, but I don't recommend the clock strategy at least. Yeah, I've been self-destructive, I think that like that for a long, long time.
Uh-huh,
And I think I over the years I became addicted to the adrenaline rush of playing fast, and
uh-huh,
it helps my natural like indecision. I think in
uh-huh,
life and chess, I'm quite indecisive, so I think having no time on the clock forces me to play fast and.
uh-huh.
I wasn't helped by like Magnus, for example, telling me he's like, you're way better when you have 1 minute on the clock than you are with 1 hour on the clock. I think then I suddenly I was like, wait, maybe my instincts are just better than me overthinking and
Yes,
calculating.
yes.
But yeah, I mean, in general, the mindset, like I remember that game. I was actually half a point behind Fedoseev going into the round, and
Yeah,
he had
yeah.
white, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll try to win and catch him up, but ultimately I'm not going to be first. And then he lost very quickly with white against Sam Shanklin. So I think suddenly I was already in time trouble and I was like looking over and I was like, wait, I'm better, but now I could suddenly win the tournament. Like, oh my God. And that kind of gave me extra motivation. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, that game, I think at some point the 50 move rule was in sight, and then I managed to win the pawn on like move 49 of the 50 move
Wow.
rule. So and the most satisfying thing was that I saw it like 6 or 7 moves in advance. I saw this plan and I was like looking at the score sheet. I was like, wait, I think I'm going to win the pawn on move
Uh-huh,
49
uh-huh.
and it's going to go on and on. And yeah, I watch a lot of sport, Alex, and I used to be obsessed with tennis and
Yeah.
Andy Murray, the British player, like
Yes,
always
yes.
winning in 5 hours, five
Yeah.
sets, and that,
Must be a
yeah,
British thing, this grinding thing.
exactly. So, like you said, it's a mindset, and it's not for everyone. It takes like
No, not for
energy, spend
everyone,
lots of
but I
stamina,
think
but
everyone can profit from it. I mean,
mhm,
sometimes you just need to play an end game. Sometimes you just need to grind for many hours. And I think in modern chess, it's even becoming more common because you normally
mhm,
get nothing out of the opening. So you just need to rely on your playing skills in a longer game and to little by little to outplay your opponent and win somewhere late in the end game and so on and so
mhm,
forth. So in this respect, like, how do you manage to actually keep control with so
mhm,
little time on the clock when you're converting an advantage? Because okay, control is that you actually calculate basically more or less everything, and you know that against every move by your
mhm.
opponent, you know what you're doing, yeah. So how do you manage that with little time on the clock?
Yeah, another good question. I think a friend of mine, Jovanka Hauska, she says like she notices every game I just overprotect everything, like just
Ah,
in case I'll like often I'm not even trying to make progress. Like if it's
uh-huh,
fixed like this, I'll just try and cover like all squares, cover yeah, just prevent any tactics. I think my I've always been of the mindset, especially since I got into my 20s. I don't know what it is, but like the first thing I think of in every position is like, what's my opponent's threat? What's my opponent's threat? And
uh-huh,
if I see there's no threat, then I make a small improvement move. I think so like I'm always trying to improve my position slowly, but the main thing is I'm trying to stop my opponent from playing chess and stop them
uh-huh,
from tricking me or going for tactics. But
uh-huh.
yeah, I mean, it's difficult. And the downside is that I miss critical moments sometimes when my opponent actually lets me
Yes.
do something, or I miss tactics because I'm just trying to control rather than
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
trying to pounce and play on the front foot. So sometimes I'm a bit negative and passive, and
uh-huh, uh-huh.
so this. yeah, there's ups and downs. Like that's why like Magnus and Nakamura, they're so good because they can slowly outplay their opponents and keep control. But then if they're given a chance, they'll spot it. Whereas sometimes I
Yeah,
miss
exactly, exactly. Yes.
opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, what you described, I remember clearly reading with the in Dvoretsky's work when he was
Mm.
describing Karpov's style. He said that okay, Karpov was prophylactic and everything, but as a result of this, he would often miss the first chance to win the game by force. And
Yeah.
okay, Dvoretsky then said, but he would never miss the second. The second one he will not miss, but the first one he would often miss. Just because he was probably more concentrated about what you were describing, his own safety, prophylactics, and so on. So yeah, that's I mean, according to Dvoretsky, the common shortcoming of prophylactic players because they're primarily concerned about, preventing counterplay, their own safety, and so on. So yeah, as you say, this fine balance is required. For example, what Magnus has achieved, like balance between prophylaxis, but also being on the front foot and always like being very ready and spot the first chance that appears to pounce on it.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, like for anyone watching who's like trying to fight against these grinders or like trying to fight against people who are just trying to make it slow and long and everything, is like to just try and change the nature of the position. So many times people they just assume I'm playing for a draw or that they assume I'm not doing anything, and then they just kind of go along with the same pace. But I love David Smurden's book. I think it's like The Complete Chess Swindler,
Oh,
where
yeah,
he says actually the best swindles come when someone loses control just a little bit and then they start to spiral. And I've had that because I'm obsessed with control
yeah, yeah.
in chess. If I lose a little bit of it, things can go wrong very, very quickly. So it's kind of just looking for ways to, yeah,
Unsettle the opponent. Yeah.
exactly. That's the way to fight against it, I think. And often unsettling them enough to like force them to bail out or force them to end their winning attempts. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, good advice. Yeah, good advice.
Hmm.
Though I would assume, I mean, it must depend on the position. How would you unsettle anybody in this position that we have?
Yeah, this is true. I mean, this one's like the extreme. It's like you mentioned that I got an endgame like on move 13 in that all
Yeah,
those
yeah,
years ago, but I mean that one is a bit more imbalanced. This is look the most
yeah. This is what looks like rock solid. Yeah,
rock solid position ever.
absolutely.
And yeah, I guess it's hard for white, like because black's next moves are easy, right? Like bishop d6, a5, king
Yeah,
e7. And what white's doing is far less clear.
yeah. Black just puts pieces in the center and waits basically. Yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, the knight is not even forced to come to e4 anywhere. Yeah, it can just stay on f6 defending the pawn on h5. And white,
Exactly.
what does white do? I mean, f3 not so easy to do because the pawn is hanging even after bishop d6. And then what remains is the queen side, and the queen side, as we said, after a5, not so easy to get any minority sort of attack going.
Hmm.
And even if, as we may keep mentioning the blue bomb game, if white gets ready for a3 before, black just doubles on the a file, and then it's ready for any opening to chop off all the rooks, and that would be it. And there is
Yeah.
also the plan, okay, which I've seen in games a5, b5, and just get more space on the queen side and make it even harder for white to do anything there.
Exactly. It's like a 3 or 4 step plan for white, but like it's the type of plan where even if you achieve everything, like
Exactly.
it's like it could backfire. Like you could achieve a3, b4, open the a file, but then black puts a pawn on b5, and you're like, wait, I've got weak pawns on b4.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's yeah, it's going to be a very, very difficult position to make serious progress. I must admit, I'm a bit surprised, like not by Felix's opening, but by Navara's opening. Like David, like at least in my eyes, he's still a dynamic player by heart,
Uh-huh.
and uh, he does win these types of positions against lower rated players sometimes. But I don't know. I think this is the match situation. He doesn't want to risk it. He's probably been looking at a lot of the Queen's Gambit declined because nowadays it's by far the most popular opening, like candidates tournament every round. It was like
Yeah.
predominantly um, these types of Queen's Gambit declines. So I don't know. I just don't think it's the opening choice that's gonna give him winning chances against Felix. I think Felix is too well prepared, too principled, too solid.
So by the logic you mentioned earlier, that means that in the next white game he'll probably go e4. Yeah.
Maybe e4, or he'll try something a bit different. Maybe he'll
But okay,
keep
I mean,
the white pawn on
look,
c4 longer.
I also think that these choices are more or less dictated by like playing the best move because if you go a bit earlier, like you go already here. I mean,
Mhm.
you go e3, and basically, if they go bishop f5, you're more or less forced to go for queen f3 because otherwise there's no problem. There are no problems for black. So you're
Mhm.
forced to go for that line. Yeah. So you must make that move and go for the type of position, even if it may not be your style
Mhm.
or preference, but you must because otherwise it's just too easy for black. The only way to, let's say, theoretically put any pressure or make problems is to go queen f3 and go for the endgame.
Mhm.
So that means the whole queen's gambit. Then you either go queen c2 here,
Mhm.
or you just go for another line. So it just
Mhm.
changes the whole opening approach, right?
Yeah. And that's where like I mean it's so mainline as well that like maybe playing something a bit offbeat, like an early, I don't know, E3 or keeping the pawn on C4 or I don't know, playing a Reti, playing in English. That's why other like I mean top grandmasters don't even allow this anymore. Unless your name is
Yeah,
Anish Giri and you're
yeah,
happy
unless
to
you're
kind of
Nigeri.
yeah, just because it is so solid. And I remember preparing for it was years ago now, but one of the London Chess Classics, and a friend who was helping me, he was like, just play this as black. Like people are going to be banging their head on the wall. Like there's no other way. Like there's no, you don't even have to prepare much because I was
Yeah,
studying
yeah.
at the time. I didn't have much. I didn't have the luxury of sitting there for days preparing for the event. So I was like, okay, I
Uh-huh.
just need something easy to learn. Nobody let me have this though, which was
So,
upsetting.
so you didn't get to play it, no?
No, no. But I mean, you're right. This is all very kind of direct stuff, really kind of
Yeah, very direct stuff and easy to learn. I mean, you just get the setup like this, okay?
mhm,
Knight on f6, pawns f5, h5, bishop d6, as we said, king somewhere a5, and you just wait.
mhm.
Basically, nothing really bad can happen to you. Now, okay,
Yeah.
he played 92, but even I think this, okay, and then what?
Hmm.
Or the other knight, I mean, it doesn't matter. And where does this knight go to? Okay, we can go f3 now. This is defended, but then what?
But then, yeah, maybe that knight doesn't move the rest of the game if F3.
Ah, yeah, true.
Uh, yeah, then I mean, black. I don't think black ever takes on F4, right? Like, better to
No
have one
need
of a
to, no?
kind, bishop and knight. Yeah.
There's no need to take, right? I mean,
Hmm.
okay, but I think even, all right? Even this.
Even this, yeah. Just for people wondering, like, I would never take just because,
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
no rush, no need.
no rush, no rush. Yeah.
Uh,
But
but
worst
even
case
this.
scenario, you take, and then is this how bad it is? I mean, okay, I get the knight to d3, maybe to c5, maybe you try some minority attack, but
Hmm.
knights, but like I don't know, maybe okay, let's say 5, knight d3, and then I put a knight on e4 maybe to stop knight c5. Then
Yep. And I mean, I'm not seeing any like plan of improvement here at all for white. Knight e2. I mean, black can start with a5, black can start with bishop d6. I mean,
yeah,
Felix, yeah, he's got all
I'm
the
pretty
choice in
sure
the world.
he studied okay a5. Yeah, he studied this
Hmm.
types of position setups and
Yeah,
where the pieces should go.
yeah. Like the one kind of maybe few month period where I was studying this a bit as black. I did notice the computer always says like 0.2 for white or 0.3 for
Yeah,
white, and it's but like you play around a bit and it just stays at that level, like no matter what black does, and it never grows. So I think it's easy to get deceived by people studying this opening. They're like, oh wait, I've got an opening advantage, but actually it's like,
right.
is it an opening advantage? Like, there's no plan. Computers don't
Yeah,
point out the long-term plan, like what comes next.
yeah. When there is no progress, it's not really an advantage, is it? Like it's
Mhm.
point 0.2 now, and 20 moves later, it's still point 0.2, or the point of
Exactly.
the point 0.2.
Uh, maybe in a few years, AI will be like, okay, it's 0.2 because in 60 moves time you get this
Yeah,
pawn break and have some small chances of winning or breaking through. But
yeah,
at the moment, 0.2 means 0.2 and it doesn't mean anything
exactly.
else.
But do you think
Yeah.
that would be useful? Okay, let's imagine AI or Stockfish 25 tells you that in 60 moves you get this break and so on and so forth. I don't think that's useful at all.
No, and it's only very specific types of positions where that's even relevant. So
Exactly.
yeah, you're right. I'm a skeptic. I'm not. I don't think it will change too much, but I guess there's certain types of positions where like it'll just kind of save you time understanding and yeah, but probably it's a shortcut that you don't want to take because you need to actually figure it out as a human anyway. Nobody can guarantee in 60 moves you even get the same pawn
Exactly.
structure, let alone that idea. So
Yeah.
Okay, A5.
I mean, I even tweeted this like yesterday or 2 days ago, that I was saying like maybe a blasphemous thought, but I think the opening evaluations that we have today, based on analysis of today's engines, will probably be valid forever. Because okay, the engines from, I don't know, 10 years from now may let's say provide a subtlety here and there, but they would not affect the core evaluations of core evaluations of the variations.
Mhm.
I think the engines are already super strong that you can't really make a mistake in evaluation. Yes, maybe a more precise move here and there, maybe 0.1 going up or down, but nothing too major.
Yeah. I think I see a lot of top players being jaded now. Like they work with the engine so much that they've started playing instead of just dull positions that are zero point 0.0 or even 0.2 for white, like this one, they've started playing like variations where the computer says black is actually better,
Yes, yes,
but they're trying to, I think, don't know, just anything to break the the
yes, yes,
monotony of like a slow position, anything to take a little bit of risk or feel like they're living on the edge. I've noticed a
yes,
massive trend that people are playing really dodgy openings now just because it's something their opponent might not have looked at, and yeah, it's
exactly.
crazy to me, but it's
Yeah,
definitely modern
exactly.
chess.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, now, okay, I'm working on this, my new chessable course. Okay, it's one e4, e5 for black. And okay, basically I was forced to look at everything, literally everything, because lifetime repertoire, as you know, you should cover everything. And I
Yeah.
was just amazed, like you can like, but okay, this is already known for a while. Okay, Magnus played a4 against Rajabov and he won, but that transposed to this like four knights kind of thing.
Yeah.
But now they play, okay, or they play e4, e5, queen h5 or stuff like that, you know? Then drop the
Mm.
queen back to f3. And it's not very often, it's not even, white is not even worse. But you get a new type of position, you get something fresh, okay, playable. And nowadays you even have to prepare that. I mean, Caruana, what he's doing, e4, e5, d3. You do
Yeah.
something f4, yeah, or like in the Nakamura Liang match, e4 e5. How was it? Knight c3, knight f6, d3. I don't know, knight c6, g4, and now
Yeah.
the key move, knight g8. Yeah, so you're going to go to g6 and take advantage of the f4 hold and so on. So you know, I mean, it's move 4 already or 5, and you get a relatively fresh position, but that also pushes you in the other direction that you have to prepare for this stuff.
Hmm.
You know, people have looked at this stuff in quite some depth, if they're Caruana or Nakamura, or, you know, they have analyzed this stuff with modern engines, even though it's ridiculous. And you have to
Yeah.
prepare for that too. So you kind of, yeah, fresh, but also very heavily prepared. So it's like, I'm not sure, like,
It's yeah, it's definitely a mindset thing as well. Like, I mean, I worked with Fabiano for a brief period in 2015, and I think if I suggested to him then that you should play 2d3 or 3d3, he would just sacked me immediately, like kick me out the door. He'd be like, "Just get out of here. You're
yeah,
talking nonsense." But I mean, yeah, it's got to that point where creativity is at such a premium, and like just knowing something better than the opponent is the only advantage you can get. And yeah, that you're right. These these ideas are, I mean, it's just mind blowing what people are resorting to. But I mean, Alex, like when you're working on that course, are you looking at like popular games first and then trying to recommend something that top players have done, or are you looking mainly with computers, or how do you
well,
prepare
I'm not, I'm trying to mix three things, okay? So obviously I look at the popular games, best players and so on, computer games as well, correspondence
it?
games as well. Then I look at what the computer is saying. But I also then try to kind of get in some of my own ideas and make them work.
Hmm.
Like, you know, I've learned this like ever since I was learning chess, studying chess, reading about chess, and forming my mind like outlook, or like how chess should be played, how openings should be approached, and so on. And I was influenced by Botvinnik. And I remember he specifically suggested that strong players should always have their own theory.
Hmm.
And by that, he meant variations or moves where their own evaluation or impression of them varies, even if slightly, compared to established theory.
Hmm.
So what happens is that, okay, established theory thinks that, I don't know, some line is good for whites, but if I can prove it with an engine that it's not losing for black, and I like playing that position, then here I see a small chance of mine, yeah? And I try to, like I said, to combine all these things, and also like I have my opinions on certain openings, which again may differ. Some of them they are not popular, and I think undeservedly so. And I try to combine all these things to give something new to the students. So like, okay, people who buy the course or who study it and so on. So I try to be original in this way, not just following mainstream theory, which because everybody does that, and just to give something a fresh outlook, like a new spin to things. That's my approach, like to openings.
I mean, yeah, I love that approach and fully agree. Do you ever get, I mean, I had this a little bit when I was back in the days I was coaching a bit more, but do you ever get to a point where you have a dilemma, you want to recommend something because it's maybe easier to understand, easier to remember, but it's not actually objectively best? Because I remember recommending to a student, I was like, you should definitely play this line, it's great. But in the back of my mind, I was like, there's something much better, but I don't think actually it's practical. I don't think you'll remember all the details.
Exactly. No, I'm on that kind of train of thought because okay, I can probably say it. Let's say the Scotch. Okay, so I
Mhm.
was looking at the Scotch. Okay, nowadays we know the Scotch. You go knight f6, knight c6, bc5, queen e7, and so on, and black is great in all the lines. But then again, in the course, I justified my other move that I proposed, which was the classical bishop c5,
Mhm.
and I said, okay, look, I know the Scotch is solved, yeah, with knight f6. But first, there is a ton of theory, and if you don't revise it, you're never going to remember it, so it's kind of useless. Then
Mhm.
second, the types of positions are weird. You have this bc6, knight on d5, bishop on a6, limited by this pawn on c4, b3. I mean, rook h3 ideas. It's nothing akin to anything else in e4, e5. So at some point, white plays a random move, you get out of theory, and you have to think for yourself in an uncharacteristic position.
Mhm.
So I could recommend and just give you all the theory, but I think it's more practical. You go bishop c5, you get more e4, e5 classical type of positions, and you can play. You don't have to depend on your memory to get good moves.
Mhm.
So in this respect, I understand and I try to know what best theory suggests or the best moves are, forcing variations and so on. But it's not very often that I myself or I would recommend to somebody to go there unless they really want to or they have a great memory and they can memorize everything and just bash it out. So I think nowadays this practicality, the practical aspect is gaining more in force that you should actually be able comfortable playing moves, being able to come up with moves yourself than relying on your memory. So
Yeah,
that's like, as you said, I mean, it's like, yeah, this is how you should do it. It's maybe better objectively, but probably shouldn't do it because it's not practical.
exactly. For me, the trickiest thing was kind of saying with a smile on my face, Bishop C5 is definitely the best move, and like the student just accepting it. And in my mind, I was like, probably knight f6 is better,
Well,
but
nine of six, yeah, yeah, yeah.
just,
No,
but
no, I'm trying to explain my point of view, and I say, okay, this is why I think that's it. You may not like it, okay, fine, buy another course or just study knight f6 or whatever.
Mhm.
But I think that's my rationale. I think it makes sense. And just okay, you take it
Yeah.
or leave it. It's up to everybody's taste.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned this line actually in the Scotch because my whole life I've been playing Bishop C5 instead of Knight
Yeah,
F6 precisely for those reasons. Like I've never been a great like disciplined studier of opening theory and positions of Bishop C5 just easier to handle.
yeah,
But then
yeah,
every time I've played in the World Cup, people have played the Scotch against me because I play Bishop C5. They're like, he doesn't play the best line.
yeah.
I'm going to punish him. And every time they play the Scotch, I'm like, oh my God, why have I never sat down for like a few days and studied Knight F6?
And I've seen them just
Yeah.
dissuade them from playing the Scotch against me. Yeah,
Yeah. But I guess if the best they could do is play the Scotch, I shouldn't be too upset. But
yeah. You should be fairly satisfied.
yeah, as Paul says in the chat as well, yeah, the best lines for a super GM are not always the best lines for
Exactly. Yes,
the
yes.
average person.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Okay. So yeah, I need to get this course, Alex. I need something against the Italian. But in the meantime, we've had a
Oh,
couple of
against the
moves.
Italian. Well, there again, I have my own kind of view in a way. I mean, I also did not go for neither knight f6 nor bishop c5. I go for d6. And I was really
Oh,
impressed by this, Niemann Caruana game, f5 and stuff. And
yeah.
actually, that's wild. I mean, still not enough games in those lines.
Mhm.
Okay, Niemann played short castle. Why shouldn't go for short castle? Why should go for long castle and then go b4, a4 and stuff? The positions are so rich, so unexplored yet.
Mhm.
Yeah, not many games, not even correspondence or engine games. So it's something that still is fairly fresh. The engine would gives white like even zero point 0.5 advantage at some point, but it's nothing. You see when how the game develops, it's like this maneuvering game, some subtleties. It's still a lot of play there. And I was quite happy with my choice, in fact, because it's something atypical of what we are kind of growing tired of knight f6, d3, or two knights. You have to remember all that theory, knight g5, d5, and all this stuff, or the Italian c3, d3, b4, no b4, a4, no a4, and those subtleties.
Ah, you're giving me the itch to study again. Like I've actually had it in my like to-do list to study D6 for ages, but I just never got around to it. So
Yeah, no, it's
okay.
very
Yeah.
interesting positions, very, very interesting positions. Like
Yeah.
I was really, really enjoyed working on them. I'm analyzing.
And it's funny, Alex, because you mentioned this. I don't know if we maybe just while we're waiting we put it on the board, but you mentioned that Caruana started playing this early D3. And I think
Yeah.
maybe he got the idea because in that Newman
Now,
game, he played
could be.
D6 on move 3 against the
Yeah, and then
Italian as
just
black.
f4. Yeah.
And it's the same thing, just colors reversed, just
Yes,
one
yes,
extra
yes,
token.
yes, yes, yes. Good point. Good point. Yeah, didn't think of that, but
Uh,
quite plausible. Yeah,
yeah.
quite plausible. Okay, what's
But
white trying to do? King e2. Okay, we made the sensible moves for black. White something too, but then what?
knight D3, I
Knight
guess.
d3. Yeah,
But then what? Then what?
and get the
Yeah.
other one. But can we? No, we can't. No.
I
Um,
mean, I don't think black ever needs to rush with A4. A4 is one idea, but I mean, if we're taking inspiration from that blue bound game that he held so easily against Anish, then maybe black just plays like King F8 or yeah, even
I
King
want to
F8,
go
King
to the
G7,
king
King
to
H6,
h6.
and just yeah. I
All
mean,
right.
maybe yeah, maybe we wait until White's knight's gone from D3 just in
Okay,
case Knight
knight
G5 is
d3.
annoying. But okay, King G7,
King g7. Another knight comes.
King H6.
King h6. And now what?
Mhm.
Can I go knight c5?
Yep. And I don't know whether to take, but Rook A7,
Exactly. Yeah.
say let's
You want to chop
Lazy
it
Dave
off?
says Rook A7. Okay, maybe you take it. Knight
Something
E4.
like this. Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know which rook. Maybe this one. Now maybe I
yeah,
get my knight to d4.
yeah. Let's say
I don't think.
A4 maybe.
I don't think this is much too.
Yeah, A4, Rook A5. I'll play
Yeah,
and
yeah, exactly.
onto
Yeah, yeah,
B5.
yeah.
Yeah, Rook A5, I guess.
Yeah, we'll go there. Then get
Mhm.
the other rook to a5.
Exactly. And then it'll be proper Zugzwang for both.
Yeah, like something like this.
Yeah,
And wait.
yeah.
Nah, this is. I mean, I don't know. I want to get
Yeah,
excited.
you could come in. King G6. Oh, knight E5, knight E7.
So where knight? I don't know.
Or King G7 maybe.
No,
Just want to
wait.
make King.
Wait. I mean, king f4, then king g6, but then knight e5. Okay, f6,
Uh,
and then have this.
oh, but F3, F3 finally. Oh
f3.
wait, knight G5, knight G. Oh wait, is it mate? No, it's not mate.
But it's fun enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not mate. Oops. Oh, all forced, all forced.
Almost. No, I mean, okay, this was sensible enough up to here, yeah?
hmm
And now, I mean, okay, let's not rush. Okay, put the rook
Yeah.
there.
I mean, the first question would be like if Black just plays Rook A7 and Rook G A8,
Blue
like
bomb style, yeah?
yeah,
I think Anish also landed the knight on c5, didn't he?
Yeah, he got his knight in at some point.
even
Black just
like
played
this.
even knight e4 here. I think Black played at some point, and
Yeah. But even if you establish all this, then
mhm.
what do you do? Yeah.
Exactly. It's always a question of next step. What is the next step?
Is this ever an idea?
Ooh,
Probably not.
yeah, yeah. Rook d8, I guess. In Blitz we play it, but
In Blitz we play. Yeah.
classical. Yeah, it is a lot. It is a few pawns. It is a few pawns. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't hate it for white, but
No.
I don't know, Rook c7 or something.
22.
Yeah, maybe you just leave it, take on a5.
Maybe just take,
Although, yeah,
check.
although now, yeah,
Mhm.
Rook d2, knight e4. Ooh.
I don't know what's happening here, but it's
Mhm. I don't think white's got enough reward for the risk.
no. I mean, it gets tricky, but that's why I wasn't sure about rook a6. Maybe just first double and then go
Yeah,
rook
yeah.
a6.
I
But
see
it's
what you
not really a
mean.
winning attempt, is it?
Yeah. No, maybe a4 or something. But yeah, it doesn't feel like a winning attempt unless we can get a really good version where black is totally tied down somehow.
Yeah. Oh well.
Hmm.
Okay, he went king e7. Yeah. So
Okay.
he didn't go king
Also,
f8.
yeah, also logical. Also,
Yeah. Yeah, black can also keep the king in the center. I mean, it's not like
yeah.
I don't think the doubling of the rooks on the a file is the only plan, right?
Hmm. Yeah, it's not urgent anyway. Like white
Yeah, the
takes
white is far from winning
ages.
the king here.
Yeah. Rook a6 as well. Rook b6 could be a nice just blue bum eventually did something like that and just sat there with a rook on b6.
Yeah. But the
Or
funny thing is
prediction.
that we
Oh,
find at least some different setups for black. Yeah, true.
yeah, I know. I was talking to I probably shouldn't say who, but I was talking to someone during Norway chess, and they were saying
Uh-huh.
like with white, they just want to play black openings just with the tempo more because at
Yeah.
some point they're like, okay, I've just given up trying to be creative.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, yes.
Black plans are easy because you're just trying to survive and slowly make moves, but with white, this yeah.
Yeah, to put any type of pressure, it's hard.
Hmm.
I mean, impossible at that level, in fact.
Yeah. Okay. What do you predict? Are we going to see a long, long battle where David Navara tries to press and eventually takes a risk with some B4, or do you think we'll see this game just fizzle out?
I'm not sure. I mean, I mean, hard to say because I think also depends on their approach to the match, like how hard they want to try, if they want to play long games, if they don't want to play long games, do they want
Hmm.
to put pressure in technical positions or just want to call it a day and save more energy for the other games? I don't know.
Hmm.
There are too many factors. I'm not sure. I mean, David always plays. I mean, he's a fighter. He wants to play. He will play. He will try.
Hmm.
But if he oversteps the limits, I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Maybe we just get something that's similar to the Geary Blue Bomb game.
Hmm.
They try shuffle, and at some point just call it a day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you mentioned earlier that this is quite a short match. Like the last match I played, or other than World Cup, where it's kind of a mini match and much
Yeah.
different. Like I played a 10-game match against Niels Grandelius in 2022, I think.
Uh-huh.
And there, like I was happily playing stuff like this because I was like, okay, I've still got four more whites.
Yeah.
Like here, I'll just tire him out a little bit. Like I'll at least pretend I'm doing something. Ultimately, I was actually secretly like, okay, a draw is fine. I just want to make sure my form is fine and I don't want to
Uh-huh.
lose too early. But yeah, when it's like a sprint like this one, where it's several games less, yeah, it does feel like a pity to I don't know, play this and then not achieve anything at all. So
Yeah.
I think in the back of his mind, Navarra might feel like, okay, I have to prove my opening choice.
Yeah. At least with some sort of an attempt. Yeah.
Hmm. exactly.
Because I mean, yesterday you saw, I mean, Felix got, I mean, the opening was fine for both, and then he actually feeling this pressure of being white maybe, and like trying to do something. You know, he started this
Mhm.
G4 thing, which backfired. So I don't think a lot can backfire here for white, but also the attempts are limited. I mean,
Mhm.
to a big extent. Yeah, at least yesterday White could try. Okay, there were some options: G4, maybe C4, whatever in the opening, and so on, or E4, F3 for plans, and so on. So he could try for more, but here it's not so much to try. But anyway, this pressure we all feel when we play with White that we should try some for something can
Mhm.
sometimes play against us. You know?
Yeah. Do you think, I mean, yesterday you mentioned yesterday's game, like it was a long game, 5 hours
Yeah,
plus,
five
and
hours. Yes.
do you think, I mean, there's a bit of an age difference between these two? Navarro, I think, is around 40, and Felix is, I guess, early mid 20s. Like, do you think
Yeah.
actually it was frustrating Navarro that he came so close to winning, or he'll feel that he probably had big chances and then still, after a long, long fight, couldn't convert? Do you think maybe tiredness and then he just wants something a bit easier to play today? Maybe
That
that's a
makes
factor.
sense. That makes sense. I mean, I think
Mm.
being frustrated of not taking all the chances or even converting is frustrating for everybody, relevant of age.
Hmm.
But I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, this match strategy, how one game affects the other, it can go. I think, at least from what I've read, yeah, it can go in different directions. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, long game, you missed your chance, but you were pressing. So I don't know, maybe you want to make a shorter, safer game to save energy, or you want to double down and press more because you want to continue the momentum of pressing in the previous game. Now press more. I don't know how people think, how people make these decisions.
Hmm. Which camp are you on throughout your career? Have you been like double down, keep going
I've
while the
never played a
momentum on your
match. I
side?
mean, I've never played a match, so I don't really know how I would go
Mm.
about it. Really, I mean, normally I'm a double down person, but you know, but in a match, I don't know. I mean, I actually I played one match in my career, but that was only a two-game match at the. You know, when you remember during COVID, I mentioned this also yesterday. There was this hybrid
Mm.
qualification for the World Cup.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there, I played in a school in Skopje. I was playing against Ivan Salgado. A very, very interesting match. I really enjoyed it. In the first game with Black, I was completely winning. I was a piece up or something, and then some time trouble. I messed it up. I drew. And then the second game, I could have, I mean, basically made a draw because we had this Queen's Gambit declined with DC4, you know, when they play now. Then after
Yeah.
when he took CD4, I could have taken with a knight. Okay, it's some draw. Yeah, we go for tie breaks. But I took ED, you know, IQP, some more dynamic stuff. And then at some point I got excited. I sacrificed a rook e6 something for some great
Hmm.
attack. But he actually like tanked for half an hour or something, and he refuted it. He really found the only move to refute the whole attack, and he beat me, and he won the match. So in retrospect, maybe I just should have taken it easy with white, you
Yeah.
know, get to the tiebreak. Let's try our chances there. But okay, that was my modest match experience.
Yeah, it's tricky because like hindsight tells us everything, right? But if you played e takes d4 and the rucksack worked and
Yeah,
he didn't find the narrow path, then you could be like, oh wow, that's perfect match strategy. Like I won
exactly.
with white, beautiful game, and
Yes.
yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
Yeah, I've played so many matches, and actually most of the ones I ended up losing, it's because I went too hard with white. So
Aha.
I totally understand. Like
It's a same mistake. Yeah.
yeah, like 5 years in a row, I played like this British knockout championship, and
Yes.
I had like all these mini matches against like Michael Adams, Gawain Jones, Luke McShane. I was playing them every year, and I was like, oh my God, I've tried all my opening ideas against them. They know me inside out. I know them inside out. And at some point, like it was just like draw, and I was like, okay, let's just go hard. And it wasn't
Ah,
my style. I lost patience, and yeah, and yeah, it backfired. But sometimes it pays off. Like there have been occasions where you go all in and
yeah, that's the
it
problem. You
works.
never know which one is gonna work and
Yeah,
when.
exactly. Like I think unless your name is Hans Niemann and you're playing all these mini matches and just going hard in every game, then
Ah, yeah.
it is tough.
Yeah.
Okay, Rook H8.
Okay, Jade. Yeah,
What a
just.
move.
But does
Yeah.
that mean he wants to jump to E4?
I guess. So at least wants the option, right? Like, um, I don't see any downside. Time isn't so important because it's so blocked.
Yeah. And I have also 1 hour left for 20 moves, which is plenty of time.
True, true. And I should know this probably, but if it's a draw, do they play tie breaks, or is it just about the classical and the rating and the?
No, no, no. They do that only in Norwegians.
No, I meant not Armageddon, but I meant like if the whole match is a draw.
The whole match. Oh, that I'm not sure. That I don't know.
No, I mean Armageddon would be fun, but yeah, I don't expect that. That's
I
very.
know. Yeah.
uh,
Okay, maybe we get some information on this. Let's see.
mhm.
No tie breaks. Okay, that's Emilia says
No
no
tie
tie
breaks.
breaks.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like the goal for Felix is to learn to
Yeah, yeah.
kind
And play
of
classical.
exactly play classical, get to 2600 at some point, and yeah, rapid and blitz. It's a distraction.
Yeah, it's but what do you think of this idea that I really can't see any downside to, which is in okay, world championship matches, maybe no candidates, no, but world championship matches, especially if one day if there are candidates matches as well, to have the tie breaks before the classical portion.
Mhm.
And then we have like in good old days, the odds on favorite. Okay, let's
Mhm.
if we talk about world championship match, we know who wins the match in case of a tie. So the whole match is decided in a classical chess.
Yeah, I quite like that. Like I was thinking about it a while ago, because the World Championship matches you kind of referring to there, that's because the champion always had like
Exactly.
draw odds. They did the hard work, I guess, in previous years, so they get the I mean Kasparov only held on to his title because of that, for example, and but yeah, like it always felt odd because they weren't winning it over the board in that kind of
Yeah,
in those 14 games or those 24 games. They weren't. But I do like the idea, like the format of the tie breaks beforehand, like whether it's blitz or rapid or something. Like I
yeah,
think that's up for debate, but otherwise, I fully agree with you. I don't see any downside, and it would encourage the players to, at some point, even if
exactly.
it's later in the tournament or later in the match, take a bit more risk.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's like when you have the tie breaks before the main match, the draws can be in favor of the challenger because okay,
Hmm.
they win the tie break. Now they have the draws, and now the champion needs to win the match I mean to defend the title. So it's not a
Hmm.
given like before that the champion gets the draw odds by default. So
Hmm.
you just decide the draw odds in a fair match
Yeah.
at faster time control, and then play the classical, and let's decide who is the better player in classical.
Yeah.
So
I I like it. Like the worst format for me as a viewer was 2011 candidates when it was all these mini
oh
matches, the tournaments, and Grishuk was just like draw, 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 win the tie breaks, draw, 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 win the tie breaks. Draw. He wasn't even trying to like with White, he would force a draw from the opening every time, and it nearly worked. Like he nearly
yeah,
got
yeah.
there, but
But I just recently, I think I heard the explanation for that.
mhm.
When Swidler gave it, maybe you also heard it.
Maybe.
He he said it, I think, during the candidates. He said that like okay, he was his second there in Kazan, yeah.
Yeah.
So he was saying, okay, everybody's playing Queen's Gambit Decline, and with White, okay, we didn't have like we were playing Kramnik, right? And he says like, okay, we have some two semi ideas against the Queen's Gambit declined, and our choice was, do we try them? And most likely they won't work, okay, and we still get a draw, and then we get to a tiebreak, or we
Mhm.
don't try them at all. We just make quick draws and get to a tiebreak, and then hopefully we win the tiebreak, and we use these ideas against Gelfand in the final.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And like Swindler said that it almost worked because both these semi ideas, as he called them, actually posed Gelfand some serious problems in the Queen's Gambit decline. So in a way,
Mhm.
it was justified. Just that okay, at the end, I mean, Gelfand won the last game, amazing game, and he deservedly won the match. But in this respect of making quick draws in a candidates match and getting to tie breaks, for
Mhm.
them, some I mean, it worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that's like again, you can have those matches, but play the tiebreak before, then let's decide in classic.
Yeah. No, that is interesting. Like that match I mentioned earlier that I played against Niels Grandelius, the 10-game match as well. I went into it being like, okay, I've got half an idea in this game, like half an
Uh-huh.
idea here, half an idea there. Everything else, I have no clue what I'm going to do, especially with White. With black, I was just playing Berlin, Berlin, Berlin,
Yeah,
like just begging for a draw in every
yeah,
game. But with white, I was like, okay, I'm not going to use it game one or game two. I can't remember which one it was because I'm just going to show my hand and he's going to start looking that direction. He'll solve it. And I heard many years ago that you can only use the same idea maximum 2 to 3 times nowadays because first
yeah,
time it's a surprise, second time, like, maybe your opponents are not that well prepared, but third time done. Like,
yeah,
so I
yeah,
was like, okay, I'm gonna save it, save it. And then it was only like I managed to win a game at some point, and then he equalized, and I got like really upset by the fact that I'd lost in the Berlin, and I was like, okay, now is finally the time. And it's
uh-huh,
always like, yeah, and then suddenly I went from playing super boring chess to like really sharp chess, just one game, changed the pace. And
nice,
I think he just wasn't expecting me to go so aggressive, so it worked
uh-huh,
well. But yeah, it's interesting. Like maybe, for example, Navarra has like a really sharp idea against Felix, but he's first seeing,
uh-huh,
can I beat him in positional grinds like this?
boring stuff.
If you can, then you don't want to risk anything sharp. Why bother? Why bother? But
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah,
can't,
yeah.
then it's like, okay, save it for game six.
Game six, yeah, or game four.
Maybe that's the one.
Yeah. No, what you described is actually quite interesting because it was more or less the scenario of the Kasparov Anand match, right?
Mm,
I mean, Anand played the Open Spanish and it worked in the first two times, but then the third time he was hit with this novelty
rucksack.
by
Yeah.
Kasparov, and then everything went south from that moment onwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, also happened to Anand, I think, in the Topalov match. You know, he was playing this boring Slav endgame, the Elista endgame, and he was holding comfortably. And then he lost the third time he used it. Then he
Yeah.
went back to the Grunfeld.
Hmm.
Then he was not happy in the Grunfeld in game 10. In game 12, he went with his Gambit decline that we have today, and he won. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it is like how to time your openings, when to use your ideas. It's a very subtle thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I couldn't believe Anand was playing those lines with the bishop on h7. That was just like, oh my God. Like the fact that he only lost the third time that happened was incredible. But okay, Alex, a question. Rook hg1. I need help. What is the point?
Okay, here's an idea. It's a bad one. Okay, but you go f3, rook g2, rook g1, knight f2, and you push g4.
Hmm.
Not gonna work though. Bad idea, obviously, but
Swapping off the opponent's doubled pawns.
nah, nah, it's
I
just
mean,
rubbish. Come on.
no, I think your first point might be right. Like knight e4, maybe he will play f3, but
But
like,
then tied down to
yeah,
this,
yeah.
like you put a rook on g. Okay, the knight will be back on f6, then defending h5, so you don't need a rook on h8. You just
Hmm.
put it on g8, and then one piece. Okay, probably king will always be tied down to the
Yeah.
defense of g3. And the knight on f4 can't easily move, and so I don't know.
Hmm.
But I mean, he didn't need rook g1 to play f3. He could have played rook f3 immediately, right?
True. I think he just wants to gain a tempo if knight e4 is played. But yeah, I mean, Felix doesn't need to rush rook a6 or I don't know, any
Okay,
waiting
okay.
move. Yeah, I don't know if rook a6, rook b6 is great, but at least it will force white to sit with a knight on d3 or rook on c2. And
Yeah, well, you can always go back.
yeah, true. All the time in the world.
Yeah, all the time in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should keep an eye on the 50 move rule. Like after a5, like
What was the
unless
last one?
f3
Yeah,
comes.
16. Yeah, so we're waiting almost 66.
Yeah,
Nah,
because
I think at one point white will play E3, f3, b3, something. Yeah,
yeah,
just to keep the game going.
yeah. No, I'm mostly joking, but I could also see like not that much for the next dozen or so moves, just waiting.
Yeah, yeah, they'll shuffle. I mean, they'll shuffle.
Hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
when we're talking about this grinding stuff in games like this, how do you train your calculation to
Oof.
be able to keep control when you're converting?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I remember nowadays everyone's suggesting like all these endgame studies, and you talk about Ramesh and his Indian school of chess, they're doing these things. But I mean, I was doing those from a very young age as well. And
Uh-huh.
I once had a session with Yusupov, and he was like, okay, this is your style. You need to be an incredible calculator to pull it off.
Yes,
And I was like, what are you talking about? It's an end game. Like, and he was like, no, no, the calculation's even more important here
yes,
because like you have to be ready with your killer instinct to like take any half chance you get. you have to be able to calculate pawn races, like, and okay, knight e4 played, so we'll find out
Yeah.
about f3. But yeah, I think I only realized when I was a lot older. So like in my teens, I was just attack, attack, attack. Then I started trying to change my style a bit, and it was only when I was in my maybe mid to late 20s, when I was actually at my peak, that I realized, okay, I need to calculate extra well. And I think it was just endgame studies mainly, and
Uh-huh.
like even in middle game, like calculation, I think helps because
Yeah.
endgame stuff tends to be, apart from pawn races where it can be like 10 moves, like it tends to be short calculation, 2, 3 move things here
Yes.
and there. And I have noticed a trend like in England, like there's this famous Grandmaster Keith Arkle who's
Yeah.
been grinding the same
Yes.
endgame his whole life for 40, 50 years. It's
Yeah.
always the Carlsbad structure, always
Yeah.
minority attack, and he always wins. And he says like he keeps control because he's good at 2, 3 move calculation, but he can't do more than that. Or like he
Uh-huh.
can, of course, but he doesn't want to do more than that. Um, so he thinks it's just a shorter type of calculation that really helps the grinding style. It's more to kill, like stop the opponent's tactics than to get yours.
Uh-huh.
But
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's a good question how to train it. I don't know. I guess not everyone's going to sit there for ages and work out endgame studies and go step by
No,
step. Like,
exactly.
but how about you? Like in general, like calculation, is that something you've actively worked on?
Well, I mean, like I said, after I stopped playing and then I started playing these league games, I
Hmm.
noticed that like over years, my calculation is getting worse and worse, which is not surprising. And then I actually do try to do some puzzle work at least before getting playing a game. But I think what I actually need is more constant practice. So it's not like
Hmm.
campaign work in the sense that okay, I have a game in a month and then I'll train week before and that's it. So and then just abandon it for the next few months or more. I think the brain needs to stay in shape on a more constant basis. And what I think is that this is easier for, let's say, stronger players because they have trained hard when they were younger. As you said,
Hmm.
when you were young, you were doing a lot of this calculation work. And my theory, which you will confirm, I mean, what you can say, I mean, what you think about it is that like all these players who, let's say, come to the elite, okay, 2700 and above, or even 2600, but let's talk 27 and above. In their formative years, which I call these teenage years, basically from the ages of 10, 11, or nowadays even earlier, but let's say teenage years, they were massively, let's say, overwhelmed by this type of hard calculational work. So they
Hmm.
get their brains used to that type of work. So that type of work for them becomes normal,
Hmm.
and then as you progress and so on and so forth, that's your basis. Basically, that's your basic level. Yeah, you get
Hmm.
better. Yes, you build on that, but your basic level is already so high because you have got used to calculating so well when you were in those formative years that for you that's normal. So that's why, like, I don't know, Kasparov comes back to chess, he plays freestyle, he's still very, very good. Yeah, even though
Hmm.
he doesn't train or so on. Because when he was young, he did it apart from talent and everything. Yeah, because
Hmm.
when he was young, he was doing that type of high quality hard work that he got already to a very high level, and he can't go. It's very hard for them to go lower. And for example, in my case, that wasn't really the case, and that's my main regret. When it comes to never having a coach and never having anybody to tell me what to do. So I never
Hmm.
got to that very hard calculational work in those years, and everything I did after that, it's more easily lost later in
Yeah.
life. So that's my understanding how these things are done. I think.
Yeah. I do like the theory. I know what you mean. Like I kind of used to liken it to learning a language. Like the earlier
Uh,
you start, the more you sound fluent. You can kind of change your accent to sound convincing. You can like as if you learn a language when you're already in your mid-teens, already quite hard. Like later in life, much
yeah,
harder. And
yeah,
like you said, the base level, like your grammar is just you nail the
yes.
grammar when you're young, just
It's in,
subconsciously, and
yeah,
it's the same with
in the brain.
calculation. Um, yeah, I like the theory very much. Like you're right. Like with me as well, it's the same story. Like obviously not the same Kasparov level, but like I trained a lot of calculation, and that's why when I kind of switched to maybe doing more endgame stuff, it was already a base level that was there, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, and that's why like I mean some players are just fantastic blitz players because
Yes,
that's they've trained that specific language for years, and
yes,
even
yes,
if they
yes.
don't play for 5 years, they come back and they perform extremely well. I remember
Exactly.
when Karpov came back and won some big tournament after being retired for pretty much 10, 15 years
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ahead of modern grandmasters in Blitz because that
Yeah, it
training,
stays.
yeah, it stays.
Exactly.
Maybe that's why Korchnoi was still world
Yeah,
class
no,
in
no, he
his
was working super hard.
70s.
I remember reading like he was already, I think, a world championship candidate or something like that, and he said something like along the lines of, "I'm not too happy with my end game technique. You know, I should work on my end game technique now." You know, and he was like, I don't know, the world number 2 or 3. You know, and he's like, nah, I'm not too good. And he was working like all his life constantly. That's why he was such a beast even at old age.
Hmm. Yeah, and they're also perfectionists at the top level. So when he says endgame technique, it was already like
Exactly,
better than everyone else,
exactly,
apart from maybe Karpov, and that's why he wants to.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes.
It's it's like when I was listening. Well, I was actually in a conversation with Fabiano recently, and he was like, "Oh, I can't calculate anymore." I was like,
Uh,
"Dude, like you saying that you're the best calculator of modern chess. Like, what are you talking about?" And yeah, it's
he was comparing with himself 10 years ago. Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
when he was maybe even better. But
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, in the meantime, I see Luke Rutherford. I know someone called Luke Rutherford. I wonder whether that's someone I had coaching with about 20 something years ago in the chat,
Yeah.
saying he's amazed by F3.
I have three.
Um, yeah, I'm I'm also surprised F3 came this quickly. I think maybe at some point it was an understandable plan, but yeah, he's committed now, right, Alex? So
Yeah,
maybe
he's
we won't see
committed.
maneuvering for
So you
forever.
would have played it in 20 moves then, not now.
Yeah, yeah. I would have played it
Yeah.
in 48 moves after I'd pushed my last pawn. I'd
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
play F3.
Yeah. Knight comes. I guess this knight comes to F4,
Mhm.
and
And then
then
what?
what?
Yeah.
Then what?
Like you could put a knight in F4, you can put a knight even on, I don't know, G5 or E5 or C5, and most likely black never takes it. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
strange.
I wanted to mention something that I remember. Yeah, you mentioned Yusupov, yeah, and I
Hmm.
remember he told me, and I this once when I spoke to him that like for good calculation, width is more important than depth in a
Hmm.
sense that especially if, let's say, okay, both middle games and end games, we're not talking about forcing lines, yeah, just playable
Yeah.
positions, yeah, because it's more important to control the position more in width against different ideas and options and moves by your opponent. So as you said, Keith, yeah, calculating 2, 3 moves ahead, but everything is controlled, against
Mhm.
every move of your opponent, more or less, you calculate 2 or 3 moves, then you're controlling your safe. But Arthur actually had a good follow-up. He said that, but in those 2, 3 moves, you must never make a mistake. You know,
Yeah.
2, 3 moves, yes, it's short, but that must be perfect. You don't blunder in those 2, 3 moves. Then you're in
Yeah.
control. You blunder, then you're in trouble. So, this width over depth, it's an important concept, I think, I mean, how calculation works and
Yeah. I I agree. And like earlier you asked me like how I survive in time trouble for
uh-huh.
80 moves of a game. And it's because like in my head I'm actively thinking, if my opponent's doing this, I reply with this. If my opponent does that, I reply with that. And it's like two ply. Sometimes it's like two moves each
Yeah, 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 yeah,
maximum or one move each.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I always know what I'm doing next. And yeah, especially in the quieter positions like this one, that's I think quite useful. Like it's very hard to blunder here, which helps, but
Yes,
yeah, you're fully right that it's width over depth, especially I think for certain types of player. Unless
yeah.
your name is Gukesh, and then it's all about depth.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. That's yeah. What's your take on Gukesh? I mean, lately it's like really, really going badly for him. So
Yeah. I mean, I feel bad. I was commentating on Norway chess and he was struggling, and
yeah,
I didn't want to be too negative, but I mean, there's so many things that I think he could do to kind of at least short term stop the slide. But at the same time, like some players, their strengths are so strong that you don't really want to see
uh-huh.
them. Like, I don't want to see Gukesh like bail out with quick draws. I don't want to see him play boring positions because it's just not his style. But also, like, he's so good at what he does. But at some
Yeah,
point, yeah, I think it's a balance. Like, I know, at some point, I was a very aggressive player, like in my late teens, and I was
uh-huh.
playing very direct all the time. It was pure calculation. It was pure like going for fights. But then it just wasn't working against the 26, 2700s. And I
Yeah,
was like, wait, I'm banging my head against the wall every day. And yeah, everyone knows the definition of madness, repeating the same
Yeah,
mistake day
yeah.
on, day out. So I started to change things. I started to try new things, and that helped a lot. But it did take time. It took a lot of like
Uh-huh.
conscious effort and total mind shift. So I think for Gukesh, it's risky. It's like, does he go away from everything that got him the world
Uh-huh.
title? Does he stop calculating so much and play maybe more slower positions like this with minimal risk, grind, like, or does he just keep going and hope that at some point the form turns around? Like,
Uh-huh.
and I don't think there's a right or wrong. I mean, yeah, I sat next to his coach actually, Gaevsky at
Yeah.
the closing dinner, and Gaevsky was like, "Oh, I heard your criticism on the broadcast of Gukesh," and I was like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry." Like, it wasn't criticism. I was just like constructive, like
Yeah, yeah.
just making suggestions, and he was like, "No, no, no, we fully agree. Like, I fully agree, but his big weapons are like so strong that I don't want to tell him to like tone
Uh-huh.
things down." He's like, once he masters like the boundaries, like how hard he can
Yeah.
push and when to calculate, when not to calculate, he was like, then he'll be unstoppable. But he was
Uh-huh.
like, okay, this is just a short-term thing. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean, they know
Okay,
best. They know best. So,
that's a good thing to know. Okay, you can't know these things unless you talk to the people, and you had a
mhm.
chance to talk to Gaevsky, and he confirmed this because otherwise, I mean, from the outside, it just looks that he's just repeating the same thing, and things are not working. He just keeps going at it again and
Yeah.
again. But again, if they see it as a kind of a part of a longer term plan, as you say, exploring the boundaries, what he can, when he can calculate, how, which types of positions, how and when, okay, how to control himself.
Mhm.
And then obviously he can also play other type of chess as well against, I mean, in the match with Ding, he also played normal, I mean, calm
Yeah.
chess, like normal things. So it's not like he can't play that. But if it's a part of this plan, exploring the boundaries and then rebalancing and adjusting and finding a good, harmonious, balanced approach, then
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it makes sense. But this year, it's a bit also a question of timing, because the match is coming later in the year, and it's he makes it in time, doesn't make it in time. At what phase of the plan is he going to play that match? Does he adjust for the
Mhm.
match only? Hard to say, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, this is the biggest match of the year that we're seeing in front of us. But
Yeah,
Alex, what are
yeah,
your
yeah.
predictions? What are your predictions for that match in, I guess, November, December?
Yeah, November, December should be that time. I mean, look, I see the situation very similar to what it was before the Gukesh Dingliren match,
Hmm.
because then we had Gukesh just killing everybody,
Yeah.
winning the candidates, super form and everything, and Ding was nowhere to be seen, losing games left and right. And then the match was super, super balanced.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Ding shouldn't even have lost it like that. The last game was a dead draw, basically. So
Yeah.
that should have gone to tiebreaks. And I think it's the same. Like now we see Sindarov crushing left and right, 10 out of 14 candidates, just exciting. And Gukesh is horrible, losing everywhere and so on and so on. But match is a match. I mean, there was
Hmm.
never ever an easy world championship match. And I'm not talking Lasker Janovski's, Lasker Marshall kind of thing. Like all the other ones, like even if you take, I don't know, Capablanca Lasker 4-0, that was a hard fought match. Look at the games. I mean, okay, Lasker until game 10 it was 1-0 to Capablanca. Okay, he lost game 10, and then okay, it was 2-0 already. He needed to start getting back, and then he lost two more. But it was a hard fought match.
Yeah.
I mean, there is never an easy world championship match, whichever it was. Take even Alekhine Ewe or Bogolyubov or whatever, they're all hard fought. It's
Yeah.
like, no, I mean, it's not going to be a walkover as if people are saying. It's going to be hard fought, and anything can happen, really.
Yeah. I fully agree. Like people talk about how Magnus is like greatest of all time, but if you look at the World Championship matches,
Oh,
okay,
tough, tough.
yeah, very tough. Like against Anand, I guess the first match probably always looked like he was slightly ahead and always got
Yeah,
a win. But
yeah.
second match, like
Oh,
he had a bad loss in the Queen's Gambit. Like Karyakin struggled.
woof.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
Caruana, like
Caruana,
maybe on the
wow.
oof.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
even,
have this like you have these memes when they have your swords are like here, like what's an opinion you're willing to end up in this position, and like my opinion is that actually Carlsen Caruana was one of the most exciting matches, world championship matches.
yeah, like it
Like
felt like they were both kind of near their peak as well, which was incredible to watch.
really high quality games,
Yeah.
and so
Okay, We see knight
Yeah,
d7.
97. Let's talk about this because it's like,
Mhm.
where is he gonna go? B6 maybe? B5, knight
Yeah.
B6? Okay,
Or
not
maybe he,
now, but
yeah, yeah. Maybe a4, then bring the knight round. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Maybe he's also just waiting. He's saying like, you can't come in with knight e5, you can't come in with knight c5.
we're just
What are you
going
doing? Yeah,
back and forth.
yeah. Why not?
I mean, maybe
G4
controlling
is,
also C5, but
hmm G4 is never anything to worry about, it feels like. So why not just
yeah.
wait? Or maybe he wants to put the knight on e6, maybe?
Yeah, I thought briefly about that, but what's it the knight doing there?
Just, I mean, knight f4 has got to happen, right? Because g3 is so weak. So maybe he just
All
wants
right,
to,
so he just played it.
does he want to swap stuff?
Swap stuff, not like,
I'd probably just wait, like
oh,
rook
go
somewhere.
back.
No, or rook ag8 or rook.
Yeah, you can just wait, yeah.
Yeah. It feels like white's a bit looser now on the king side, so it's hard to imagine a3, b4 ever coming. Like white's gonna have to switch the whole army over.
Yes. Hard to commit, yeah. I mean, to put everything on
Yeah.
the queen side, and then these are always like, you need at least a piece to defend, yeah, even if that's the king.
hmm I I like how Olivia in the chat says they chose the right day for me to commentate because
Ah, yeah.
I think that's my chess karma. Like I've bored so many commentators to death when I play. Like now it's shoes on the other foot.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
quietest endgame. No, I do love it though. Hmm
Let's see like how long, okay, takes maybe for David is thinking. No, actually, oh yeah, Felix is thinking. Yeah. No, okay, I just wanted maybe okay, we can take a break, but I wanted just to discuss one idea if that makes any sense. What about this king f2, knight e2, knight c3?
Okay. And then playing for e4 eventually, or just
Oh, knight a4, maybe.
knight
I don't
a4.
know.
Hmm Okay, maybe we try and put some moves on the board. Let's say I go, I don't know, rook g8, king
J,
f2.
f2.
Let's say I just hang around rook g7, h7.
All right.
Now I might go rook g8 and ask you to come back.
Ah, you can't even do that.
Yeah, I feel guilty. I, I'll go back to h8 just to, so you can show the plan.
Okay, just double,
Yeah,
and then I put it here, and then
and
what I do want to do? Knight a4.
hmm Let's say I keep waiting.
Even b5 maybe we can do.
Yeah, b5 is tempting.
Yeah, I'm not sure I mean what I'm trying to do.
Uh,
I mean jumping, you can chop it off, right?
yeah. Which way though?
Which way, yeah? You chop it off by forcing me to chop it off. But
I
no,
also
this
like
is like
this. Yeah.
I guess these are the things that like you need to understand and know like which pair of pieces when they're exchanged, how the game continues in those
Mhm.
situations. Like do you exchange a knight for knight, a knight for bishop?
Yeah. It's,
So because here also you can give up the bishop, right? And then you have knight,
mhm.
so you have full rook endgame, yeah.
Yeah. Like normally I would say I'd rather give up the bishop, but I think just because white's played f3 and because g3 is so weak, it's
Ah,
quite
so you
nice to
want
have
to
the
keep the
dark square
bishop
bishop.
in it, yeah? So you want to
Yeah,
do
just
this.
I also like the fact that knight f4 I'll just always be able to take it and
Aha, aha, okay. Yeah, 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 the bishop controls nicely the knight, yeah.
yeah. I guess the white knight can come around like
I can go
via
f4 and then
yeah.
try to get somewhere,
And here I would try and control the knight's path by maybe putting the yeah bishop on f6 at some point.
something like this, yeah.
Once it gets to f3.
Yeah, and then you chop it off again, yeah?
Yeah.
But okay, I don't know.
Um,
Maybe I can try to put stuff on the. Okay, this one is hanging first, but I
yeah,
mean, I
king.
tried to put the rooks and then knight d4.
Hmm
Oh, I don't know. Maybe on knight d4 immediately. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe knight d4. Do- King D7 or yeah, Rook E8 or F6. Yeah, F6 first.
And just be cynical about it. Yeah.
This is this is how I play for draws against the top players.
Yeah.
I don't know, Rook E3 and it's not yeah,
Yeah.
okay, it should
Yeah.
be a draw. It should just be a draw. Rook E7 or
Yeah.
Rook E8. Yeah,
Okay. We'll see where he goes. Okay. Right.
yeah,
We can take a break now. Okay. We'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes, and hopefully we'll get some moves and see what White's plan will be here.
let's do it. See you soon.
Welcome back to the live commentary of the second game of the match between Felix Blohberger and David Navara. I'm here joined by legendary commentator David Howell, and we are watching the second game where we had a very exciting Queen's Gambit declined, an endgame, which I would say became famous, especially after the game Giri Bluebaum and the candidates that finished in Crete a few months ago. So we had some developments when we left off, which was around here, when knight f7, knight f4 was played. And here with David, we were discussing mostly what white could do if black just stayed put with knight f6. But Felix had another idea. He went knight f8. And after knight c5, he took on c5. And David, you were saying that you actually wanted to exchange knight for knight and keep the bishop in order to target the g3 pawn. But in fact, here he goes for something else, and likely he wants to go for rook endgame. But is that possible right now? Can he take?
Yeah, I think that's the key question. And although I wanted to keep the bishop, like I fully approve of him swapping all of the minor pieces off if he can.
Uh-huh.
Like I think I didn't want to be left with a knight versus a knight while white still has access to f4, c5. But the fact he got everything off, I mean, I guess rook to g8 here, maybe the other rook just in case of rook g5,
All right.
just to hold the h pawn. And now I guess f6 is.
You trap the rook here. We
Um,
don't.
I don't know if I trap the rook, but I also have rook g2. Yeah.
Yeah. But this can become sharp, right?
hmm This could definitely become sharp, but I think I'd rather be on the black side of sharp just while the white rook is stuck.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
And
rook
your idea
g8
is
is.
okay. I mean, here, if white cannot double, then just black can go maybe rook g6 and go rook g8, right?
Yeah. Or even f6, king f7, and just,
Oh yeah, just control all
yeah,
these entry points. Yeah.
exactly. Like I really like what Felix was doing before all the exchanges as well. He covered every single square in his half of the board. Like there was nothing
Ah,
like
you went after
uh,
this
even
position, right?
yeah, like this position, like I guess
But
g5, but g5 you can cut, like you
yeah,
can
we
kick.
can draw the Maginot line. Yeah.
Exactly. So he covers everything, and then like no matter where white goes, he can trade or
Yeah.
kick the opponent out. And yeah, I think just the fact that David played rooks well knight c5 so quickly, and then
Uh-huh.
allowed all of this. I think this shows maybe he's okay with the draw. Maybe he just felt there was nothing anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
probably.
and
Okay, now we expect knight f4 because if you don't take, white will probably just move the knight, right?
yeah, and probably still equal, but like
Yeah.
at least then white
I mean,
can.
okay, let's
Yeah.
just say okay, sorry, no, wait. Let's just say uh black makes a move, something, okay, and you move the knight, and I go
Mhm,
f6. So my knight is controlling f4, c5, e5 is taken, okay,
mhm.
g5 is taken, b5 is taken. I still have my Maginot line. How do you make progress here with white? Do you go g4? Do you do what?
Oof, good question.
Hmm.
I guess is it unrealistic to play like king f2, rook e1, and play for e4 somehow?
To take advantage of the fact that my piece is on d file, right?
Yeah, I mean d4 is very weak, so black probably just puts the king on somewhere, and rook c3 doesn't, rook a3 doesn't really achieve much.
Just wait.
Yeah, I mean this looks fine as well, to be honest.
Even
But
this, yeah.
yeah, but I just feel like if you can play knight takes f4, and you can guarantee that the game ends with all the rooks coming off, probably a drawn king pawn game or drawn rook game, like
Uh-huh.
surely this is pretty safe. Maybe I'm just in the mindset, Alex, that we were kind of speaking of earlier, that a draw is
Yeah,
fine for black, and
yeah.
maybe too negative, but
But why do you think he's thinking here? Because okay, like once he went knight f8, he
hmm
must calculate, okay, this knight c5 and the exchange of the possibility to exchange all light pieces. So do you think he's still undecided, or like so he took off like fairly quick 2 minutes to c5.
mm,
He followed up with 96 at tempo, and
hmm
now he's already thinking for more than 6 minutes. So
yeah.
why would you think he would be thinking?
good question. Maybe he feels that like he wants to play knight takes f4, but if he does and it's fine if it works, then this is probably his last big thing of the game, right? Because then
Aha.
he just goes rook g8, I don't know, f6, trades off at least one set, maybe both sets of rooks, and it's just totally dead the game. It's going to be a draw. But he's thinking like if it backfires, maybe that sharp rook game we looked at,
Aha. Aha.
maybe he's like, oh, just in case, I want to be 100% sure. Um, yeah, I mean that's the only rationale I can think of because otherwise I think
I
I would
see.
prefer not to drag out this game too much if I were Felix. A bit lower on time. Black's pretty much not got any pawn breaks. White's the one who's going to be trying, so why not
Yeah.
end it here and now? Yeah,
Yeah, it's thinking
mysterious.
for quite a bit. Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, critical is you take and you put a rook on g8. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
now, okay, what are the plans for white? I mean, if you don't go to g5, f6, which is what we spoke about,
mhm.
what can white do? I mean,
Maybe he's looking at king and pawn endgames like somewhere down the line. Like if all the rooks suddenly disappear, white gets like king d3, e4.
and then what? I'll just leave
And
it. You
good
take
point.
on a5, good. You have three pawns.
Yeah. E5 is never anything to worry about. Yeah,
A5,
this. Hmm. I'm struggling to come up with a reason. Let's say white goes king f2 then. Let's say just wait. King f2. Does black play
f2.
f6?
Okay, f6.
Yeah. Hmm. I don't see it. Like,
Maybe rook c5, I don't know. But then you take
yeah.
first,
Take
and then
rook
go,
a8.
okay.
Yeah, this looks as I mean, I'd probably pick black here, to be honest. Like king d6, b6, c5. Black's the only one with a pawn
Yeah, yeah,
breakdown.
yeah. You can get your pawns moving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's again see this rook g5. What's happening here? I mean,
Hmm. Okay.
can
Like
can
if
you just be like this and go rook
rook
g6?
g6. That makes sense. Yeah, because I don't think black ever wants to take on g5, just helping the white structure.
Yeah,
Or,
no, no, yeah, because you
uh,
take maybe take get the king to f4, then
yeah.
but no, just stay there.
Okay. King d3. Let's see. And black can just, I mean, even rook e8. Like,
Yeah, and you just move, yeah, somewhere.
yeah, rook. Somewhere.
I don't know. Maybe I want to go here. I don't know if I want to go
Yeah.
there.
You're not scared of e4.
Yeah, well,
Nah.
actually not. You do threaten because it's a check, yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, then rook e8, yeah.
Yeah, maybe just rook e8. Then rook e1, maybe.
Move.
Yeah, rookish. Yeah. Now e4 maybe now because black's h6 rook is so passive.
What's happening there? Is this dangerous with that passive rook? This one is hitting.
Yeah. I mean, this is dream scenario for white. I think this is the maximum
Yeah,
white can hope
probably, yeah.
for. Yeah. Maybe it's still a draw, like somehow, but
Yeah, 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 no, but you don't want to allow this, no?
mhm. I have a feeling if black can play f6 to kick the rook out of g5 early, then at least you don't have to answer any more like difficult questions about like what to do next. Rook
So
and
here,
g5 is
yeah.
just annoying.
This
Yeah.
one? Yeah, this one makes more sense because the rook
Yeah.
is trapped.
Or maybe rook
Yeah.
g2 first before king e6.
All right.
Just just to slow white down. I don't like your king on e3 either. It looks like the best square, so take that square away.
You
Maybe
you don't even have to go king e6, right?
yeah. Take rook g1 is this could get sharp. Rook g1.
Yeah, you can get sharp.
Okay. e4, I guess. Or rook g5.
This can get weird, yeah.
I mean, it must be like something like this he's calculating. Otherwise, why stop for so many minutes?
Rook is still silly, you know?
If white plays f5, it's like he's trapped his own rook
Oh
for the
yeah,
rest
yeah,
of
yeah.
e4, I guess. And
Yeah, e4 has
for the
some
race.
checks here.
Yeah. I mean, here black could just keep checking probably forever, and it's a
Yeah, yeah,
draw.
yeah, yeah.
But I mean, black could also get ambitious and push the a pawn
Yeah, exactly.
at some point. Yeah.
So here, I mean, maybe white is risking a bit more. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. I don't think David's gonna play rook g5, rook takes f5 somehow.
uh-huh. So, but if you don't go rook g5, rook f5, then you just no ambition. Then what do you
Then
do?
it's just a draw. Yeah. I have. Hmm. Okay, let's see. White plays king d3
King
and goes
d2.
for quick e4. Oh, maybe you're.
If I double,
Yeah, rook g6. Now rook g5. Have I tricked?
I tricked.
Oh, I don't know. It's probably trading rooks is okay, by the way, but I don't know. It feels.
Yeah, okay. This
uh,
never sure. Yeah.
yeah, never sure.
Can I get creative?
Yeah,
Probably not. No, no, no. Can't.
probably white plays e4 there
Yeah, yeah,
just to not let
exactly.
your king get in. But also maybe takes. Actually, maybe takes it.
Yeah,
Rook
takes
e1
rook
check.
e1 and so it's no.
Yeah. Okay, we're finding out. It looks like Felix has finally decided he made a
Ah,
move.
so he
He.
took. Okay, so we're getting there. Okay, good, good, good.
Mhm.
So we had some action here compared to the first part of the game when they were shuffling. Now at least we get some exchanges and some more concrete play. Yeah.
About time. About time.
About time, yeah.
Oh, my favorite rook end games.
Your favorite, yeah.
I used to joke, like, ironically, that it was my favorite, and then I think I joked about it so much that it actually became my favorite like,
Ah,
rook end
yeah,
games. Like, I only win nowadays if it's a rook end game or some kind of,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
small
yeah,
imbalances.
actually, I just saw chat and Felix Schildorfer 1160 is asking you any wisdom you can share for rook endgames.
Uh, any wisdom I can share?
Yeah,
Oof. I think on a general level, without going into too much detail or specifics, like there's three main important things. It's like king activity, super important. Rook activity, that normally means you want your rook behind a passed pawn, or you need your rook, I don't know, able to give checks. Like if you're on the attacking side, you want your rook behind the pawn to support it.
yeah,
Defending side, rook also behind the pawn to support it. Checks are very important, knowing when to check from the side, when to check from the front, general. So yeah, king activity, rook activity, and then pass pawns, just push them. Just
just push
get
them.
them
Yeah,
like it always comes down to a race at the end somehow. So just get them as close to promotion as possible. And they always joke, they used to joke about Kramnik's pass pawns, they always promote. And like same
yeah,
now with Carlsen, like his
yeah.
pass pawns always promote no matter what. So I mean general level, just superficial level, that those are the three most important
Yeah.
things. But apart from that, normally actually having like compact pawns is quite nice, like central pawns. Um, yeah, connected pawns always seem to beat isolated pawns somehow. Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah, a lot
uh,
of.
yeah, a
I
lot that can
I
depend on
I
certain things.
remember what helped me a lot was actually a pretty solid knowledge of the theoretical end games.
Hmm.
Like when you know your theoretical end games pretty well and you're confident that you can win them or draw them, okay, depending on which side, it
Yeah,
eases a lot your decision-making process because you know which direction you need to go,
hmm
where to steer the game towards.
exactly.
So, like studying the theoretical end games, I think it's very very important. I back in those days, I was studying Ruben Fine's basic chess end games. Like I had two books, and I
Hmm.
went over them twice. And I remember every time I would go over them, like I would go over them, and then my chess would improve. Even though it's just theoretical end games, you train this technique, some calculation, some basic understanding, and it impacts your general chess level, and you improve.
Yeah, exactly. Like even if it's just for confidence, even if it's like just to know, like in a middle game, tough middle game, you know you can safely bail out into something like you might have to suffer for a bit, but make a draw. Like, or if you think, oh, this middle game's too sharp, this end game I can go to, I can
Yeah.
press. Like it's yeah, as you say, knowing the theoretical end games is such a big thing. And I think my biggest regret from my young years is I didn't really take end games seriously until I
Uh-huh.
was in my late teens. I was like already a grandmaster, and I don't think I could have told you like certain end games, like what the plan was, how to draw. Like I was just kind of winging it and hoping and
Yeah,
calculating the board. But when
yeah,
I started studying, suddenly I gained another 100 points, and it was like, yeah, huge. So
yeah.
yeah,
I can tell you a
very
funny
important.
story. I mean, about exactly this. It was some French league, and I'm observing a game by somebody I don't know, and French Grandmaster Christian Bauer is just standing there next to me, right? And I'm looking at the position and tell him, but this is like a theoretical draw, right? He tells
Mhm.
me, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? He tells me, I don't really know these theoretical end games or something like a lot of that things I have no idea about. And I'm like shocked. I mean, Christian Bach is like over 2600, like all his life, very strong grandmaster. And
Yeah.
I'm telling him, what do you mean? Like, how do you then play or something? He tells me, oh, I just calculate. Just calculate to the end, and figures out if it's win or drawn or whatever.
Exactly. Like, and I mean, he's not the only one. I know so many people, like
Yeah,
especially the younger players. Like when I analyze with them afterwards, or like we played a game and I talk to them, they're like, I calculated this, this, this. I was like, oh, but surely you know this from another game, and they'll be like, no clue.
no clue. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's different ways of doing things. I will say, like for anyone watching who plays a lot of like rapid or blitz, or if they don't have so much time for classical, I think it's even more important to know the end games because classical games you can calculate, you can get away with it, like you can hide a lot of kind of gaps in the knowledge. But
Yeah.
Blitz, like I was watching, it was only a year or two ago, I was watching Gukesh against Anand, and it was like every move, blunder, 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 like both sides, like not knowing exactly how to play the end game. And I was like, oh my gosh, if only they'd remember this one game. It was basically the same as another game that I think
Uh-huh.
Botvinnik had played. Um, yeah, 50 years ago. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. Even the best players sometimes have
Yes, yes, yes.
small gaps.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, it's Felix.
Okay, so
Oh,
we got okay, so he went rook
uh-huh.
G8 as we said, and then David didn't go rook G5, he went king D3, and now F6.
Hmm.
And I think we are pretty much in stale territory now. Yeah, I mean, maybe just king F7, swap off all rooks, yeah? Unless he
Yep.
tries something with E4.
Yeah. I mean, the only way to try is E4, right? Like white can't go for any rook C5 anymore because the G file,
Yeah,
like, I don't know if I mean, white still got a move or two before the rooks come off. So I don't know if like A3, B4.
yeah. And now the only logical, I mean, the idea is he tries E4, right?
Yeah.
But does
Maybe
it work
he,
now?
mhm. Let's check it out. Maybe he was going to make a draw with King F2 and take all the rooks off, but then he saw Felix think for like 15 minutes over two moves and then
And then he changes his mind, yeah?
yeah. I guess white's not risking too much. Let's say, do we take them all off? Is the first
Well, that's a
question.
question, yeah.
Uh, I don't like allowing E5 somehow with all the rooks still on the board. Just white creating a pass pawn. Although that's probably still fine.
Right.
Um,
Can we no, I mean I think more of a threat is ED and then penetrating along the
yeah.
C
So you just want to move the king, guard those. King E6
in
or
well,
king
E6,
somewhere.
D6, where do you want to put it?
Hmm.
Maybe D6. Then if E5, you just go there. But
Yeah. And I know it's ugly, Alex, but is E takes F5 a few. This is also
if you
interesting.
want to take E takes
Oh
F5.
yeah. Is this terrible to play rook G6?
Yeah, rook G6, it's quite concrete. I'm not sure if it's terrible
Yeah.
at all.
Because like obviously like aesthetically I don't want to take
Yeah,
an F5
aesthetically
just
it's awkward. But they do
yeah.
control squares. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Like king and pawn endgame now, black would probably be winning, but even though down a
Yeah,
pawn.
yeah. No, this is actually quite concrete now.
Mm,
So maybe we need to chop them off just to
yeah. At least one pair, maybe. Yeah.
yeah, at least
Probably
one
fine.
pair, but still, let's see the more forcing line and then
Hmm.
let's see what next.
Now I don't like allowing king F5 coming
Yeah.
in. Maybe king E6,
Is
although
rook g4 a move?
yeah, rook G4 is interesting. Very interesting actually. Could lead to some kind of race. King F5. Yeah, now
Check.
not sure which rook, but yeah, probably this rook check. Oh, rook e6 isn't possible. Rook takes f4. Yeah, I think you made a good choice going that way, by the way, because otherwise d5 was
Uh,
uh, yeah, and if king f7, d5, rook c7
yeah, yeah, then it
is
can get
uh,
dangerous.
yeah, this is probably still fine for black. I don't know why I'm trying to hold it as black. Maybe black's going to
Yeah,
turn it
maybe you
around and
should
be
try
better.
for yeah, maybe we should try for more, yeah.
Yeah, so this could come to life still, if
And
Navarra
this is
plays
this is actually
e4.
quite forcing. If you go z4, you chop off twice and you go to g4.
Mm. And rook takes g4 isn't really. Is rook takes g4 unthinkable here? And then
Right?
rook h1.
Where?
Rook h1 maybe?
H1, yeah.
As white, I want to go f5 and king f4.
Yeah, so I stop that.
Yeah, f5.
F5. I'm gonna go there.
But now maybe you distract me with g3.
Ah, yeah, that's
Or
also
next move. Yeah,
quite good.
yeah, this looks fine.
Yeah.
Hmm. Now, yeah, now white has to make a draw.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah,
king f3.
yeah. It's
Um,
getting sharper now. And
yeah,
nothing.
so it could still get sharp.
Yeah, it can get sharp depending like what white does. I mean, but if he doesn't go e4, what are the
Mhm.
alternatives?
And it has to be now or on the next move because, like, if black plays king f7, rook takes g1, rook g8,
Yes.
like, it's immediate handshake. Hmm. Okay, maybe we check it out one last time. E4,
What do you want to check? E4?
E4 again. Yeah. Well, I'm slightly tempted to say like A4, king f7, then E4, but I don't know
Ah,
if it makes any difference. Let's say E4.
all right.
Let's say black does the same thing, takes at
Can
least one
we
set of
can we
pawns.
leave it? Like, do we have an option of like because I mean
Mhm.
here I don't like this.
Uh-huh.
And then rook c5 maybe.
Yeah, winning a pawn.
And if cd, then I can take and rook c7, even though that maybe also be a draw. But I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Rook e1, king
king f
d6. I don't know. It's
maybe king f5 is a nice square for black.
king e5 also, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe it's not a big deal, but
yeah. There's also f5 and rook g6 type of
yeah,
ideas.
that thing again. Takes.
We'll be very careful now.
Yeah. I don't know if we can take king e6 and then f5, king f6.
Yeah, I think that has to be played now. Maybe white. Yeah, maybe. Um,
But it's still not clear. Like here,
mhm.
f5, here, g7, and rook g5, yeah?
Rook g5, yeah. I'm not sure black rushes with f5. Uh, maybe just rook g8
Yeah,
first.
rook g8 first.
Like if you can take on e4 and if it's fine, then you
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it. Just reduce the opponent's options.
And here, except for rook g4, any other
Mhm.
ideas?
I mean, I would play either king e6 or rook g4. I
Okay,
don't
let's see
know.
king e6.
No. I'm just trying to reduce the opponent's options. So like white's only real winning attempt feels like f5 maybe.
No, but there is also taken rook c5, no?
Ah, okay. Rook g2.
And now chopping left and right, yeah? It's,
Yeah, take. I'll go maybe a4.
I don't take immediate, you know?
I mean, these could get very sharp, like
Yeah, yeah.
some kind
But
of race. Like,
impressionist black should be fine, yeah?
hmm but f5 maybe, or king d6, rook h6. Black should be fine because the queenside
Should
pawns are
be
so
fine,
fast.
but
But
yeah.
yeah,
Maybe even king e7 here, yeah? But then check
rook,
and rook f7, maybe. Ah,
yeah, rook h7. No, probably black goes rook e2 check and then takes on. B2.
Yeah, and hard decision on every move. Where
Yeah.
do you move the king? Where do you give the check? Which point you take?
Exactly. This is where if I were the players, I would spend every second calculating and then
Yeah,
still be not 100% sure.
still not sure. Yeah, still not sure. But you can't be sure. In fact, you calculate, but you still have to eventually make a decision based on feeling. Yeah, more or less.
Mhm.
I mean, that feeling is based on your calculation, but it's still kind of a feeling. Yeah, it
Yeah,
should be good or it shouldn't be good. It's a should,
exactly.
not kind of certainty.
And these positions should always be 0.0, but
Yeah.
one slip and it could go either way, right? It's
Yeah. Yesterday, when we were looking at this, at the end there was a rook endgame, right?
yeah.
So we were analyzing like online, and at some point, I said, okay, let's see what the Oracle says. Okay, so I switched the engine on. The engine
Hmm.
says like zeros everywhere, right? But then,
Okay.
you start going in the one line, and then the zeros become, yes, it's a zero, but the only moves that White had to make were mind-boggling.
Hmm.
Some super strange maneuvers, like very, very weird in what at first sight looks like a pretty simple rook endgame. So it becomes like, yeah, zero, but the difficulty is, well, considerable.
Yeah, I was so impressed. Like, just I had to watch the games a bit afterwards, but like after they finished. But like at some point, I was like, wait, how is this a draw still? And like computer
Uh-huh.
said 0.0, but I was like, Felix
Yeah.
found so many good moves to defend,
Yes, yes.
so many tough decisions. Maybe Rook Endgames is going to be the theme of this
Well,
mini
yeah,
match.
we'll get a second rook endgame in a row.
Yeah, no E4 yet.
Yeah, still thinking, yeah.
Yeah, I think this might be like if E4 isn't played, I think this is just going to be a very straightforward draw for Felix.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if Navara, like on a practical level, if he doesn't feel he's risking much with E4 himself, then he might as well try it.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm struggling to come up with the other ideas. Like, I think A4 is the only other useful move I see, just because I'm trying to get the same exact variation as we just showed. But
Uh-huh.
like A4, King F7, and then E4, for example, and saying I've kind of gained a tempo with A4. Maybe the pawn is slightly closer to
But
promotion.
here, can I just do this?
Ah, yes. This is just a fortress, right? And
No,
every,
so like the thing is like, do you actually have a move or you have to do it immediately? Because
oh, maybe
this is
there's,
what I want to
yeah.
do. Take King F7 rook G8.
Ah, no, that's very clever. Because, yeah, I had an idea after, like, if you delayed one more move, but
So what
same
was the
thing with
idea?
pawn
Okay,
endgame.
let's
But
see the
I
idea.
mean, it
Okay.
was probably not, not a great idea. But if you take on E4 once first, maybe the other way
Okay.
first, and then rook G8. Oh, rook takes and rook G8. Um, so
Yeah.
rook takes rook. I was thinking maybe this, but I was wondering whether after rook exchange and F5,
Ah,
this is probably still a draw, right?
so with E5?
Maybe black just, yeah, with E5 next. Like taking on E4, king takes, king F7, D5 looks a bit scary.
No, but even
So
here, like, okay, good. Let's go.
yeah, you'd probably wait, right?
Yeah, just wait. And if E5, I can take,
Yeah,
go C5.
C5, exactly. Yeah, okay. Now it's
I mean, I don't know. You can try. Maybe it's not
oof.
a draw.
How's our how's our calculation in Rook
Calculation
Endgame?
skills, yeah.
I guess black will get as close as possible at some point by putting pawn on D4. It's gonna be three squares. Hmm. Yeah, this is like it could be one of those where like white having the extra passing move B3 or black having B6
Yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah.
is nice, but
No, but B3 probably has to be played because if I want to get the pawn to D3, I want to connect it with C4 if possible.
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, again, B3 is always an idea because maybe you can come back, but
So for example, if we say, I don't know, do we say D4 or do we leave D4? D4? King E4, King E or B, yeah, King. Do we want B3 or not?
B3.
Let's say F
And now what?
F6
F6.
or E6, King F4. And the key moment will always come like King F7. Can white play King F5 or not?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is the question. D3 check there.
King, D, king.
Yeah, you can play it, yeah.
Yeah, I think you.
Like check. And here.
Yeah, D2.
Check.
Yeah, but I think black survives.
Yeah, black survives, but at least you get a queen with check, yeah.
Yeah, you get a queen with check. And black has to play, yeah, king D7. Or, well, yeah, maybe not king D7 immediately, but yeah. Okay, black's
Right,
got everything.
this one is
Yeah,
defended. So.
black's got everything covered, so this is fine. If we just go back a few moves, instead of after F6, king E, no, wait, after E6, king F8.
I just say.
Yeah, so king F5. Can we do go, wait, oh, just F7 is the same, right?
F7, maybe on king G.
Ah, gosh. Oh, wow. Yep. Resign. It was funny. Arjun Erigaisi won with this exact same trick once in a big
Yeah.
game. Yeah. Whoops. Okay, I blundered. Yes, it's the same.
Yeah, so this is also draw.
Yeah. Anyway, this was the type of thing I was thinking, but then I mean, why would Black allow that?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Wait,
because
so
it's
he,
just simpler just chop off all rooks and
yeah,
not take,
yeah,
yeah, because it keeps the position closed.
yeah, exactly. And then White can create maximum one pass pawn, which the Black King blocks and no entry.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's yeah, I think you've proved there that like it's E4 now and the game goes on, or it's just going to be a draw very
Yeah.
quickly.
But yeah,
So
he's
that's
spending considerable amount of time probably thinking about
yeah,
these things.
yeah. This might be the last critical moment of the game, or it could just be the beginning of
Oh,
some
in your face.
some interesting end games. Yeah. So E4, I kind of want to see it happen. Like I think it's going to be a draw anyway, but like we might as well have some intrigue in this rook endgame.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it will be a kind of a, the game started slowly and not much going on, and suddenly now things happen.
Exactly.
I think I read this in Hans Rey. He was talking about Fischer, and he said that like something along the lines of play a long, boring game, yeah, and then at the end things will start to happen.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's very, very rare that something doesn't happen in a game of chess.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe a top level world championship match when everything is controlled or prepared or whatever, but you get
Mhm.
any given players, give them the dullest opening, and at some point there will be some chance,
Exactly.
inevitably.
Like I often get asked the question, like, what can I do to improve? Or and it's like the main thing is not to blunder essentially, but like at some point, someone in the game will, you or your opponent, and I think at all levels, like, and it's just ready for that moment. It's
Yeah, exactly. Need to be sharp.
nobody, yeah, nobody dominates a game from start to finish. Like if you're similar level to each other, like
Yeah, yeah.
it's oh,
2.8.
what,
This we did not consider.
what? But now the black rook's coming. It has to be yeah, I was gonna say it has to be rook c5 then.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why give up the g file?
So
So let me
now,
see.
do we play dull with rook a8 or
Do we
we go
play?
for activity? But this looks strange, no?
Yeah, like I don't really see the point after rook a8. Like what white wants. Oh wait, e4 it must be. He wants after rook a8. So it's a4 for black. It's
Rook
rook
g2.
a8 or rook g2. I think in a game I would start by calculating rook g2 first, just because it's the most concrete.
Yeah, yeah, rook on the second rank, right?
And it kind of forces white's hand, right? Like king c3, there's just rook e2.
Yeah.
No need to calculate. Rook c2, don't have to calculate because it's very minimum a draw for
Oh,
black. Rook takes a5.
all right.
And does he want to go around rook a8? Mm. Very hard to believe this is so scary for
Yeah,
black,
this
even
is
if,
serious for white, yeah. Because I
yeah,
mean, the only pawn you can take is actually h5,
yeah.
which this pawn is not really dangerous because it's easy to control.
Hmm.
And you can lose like, I don't know, let's say b5, yeah?
Yeah.
You take that one, I take this one,
Oof. Yeah,
okay? And I don't know, I mean, this one looks more dangerous than this one. And
true. White has to be, yeah, white has to try and force a draw now,
yeah, it
if
looks kind
possible.
of strange decision.
Okay, so maybe is the idea after rook g2, rook takes a5, rook takes b2, maybe e4 there?
Maybe e4. Or would it even threaten here?
Yeah. I have no idea what I'm trying to justify. I would never make this decision as Navara, but
Uh,
he's, he does need to justify it somehow. Yeah, I mean, even if he takes once and then goes rook h2 or something, then, I mean, this
yeah,
looks like
exactly. I was even thinking just letting you take and go rook h2.
hmm
You take there, I let you take. I take on h4.
yeah,
But the piece, I mean, the pawns are so ugly. Even if you just keep on taking, you're not getting much, you know?
yeah. You can probably draw some of these two pawns down even.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would be slightly reluctant maybe to let white get a pawn on e5 and go like rook h2, maybe e5, rook takes h4, oh,
Walking three.
king e3, or rook a7, no time. Yeah. I mean, there was no time for this, I guess. So rook a7 last move, but just rook takes
Here,
f4.
yeah.
No, no, just rook takes f4 here and should be fine.
Now king e3, maybe. Oh no,
Yeah,
king e3, maybe I
f
can
takes
take
c.
and move.
Yeah,
I have to check.
yeah. No, white's just not got time for this stuff. Yeah, this. Yeah, black's not risking anything at all.
Yeah, just take on the next movements.
Yeah,
Maybe
or
okay,
maybe
king two,
here rook c3. Yeah,
rook
just
c3.
okay. It is getting sharper, but I don't really see how it's ever getting sharper in white's favor.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, this is what puzzles me because I don't see a scenario where this can be good for white. At least with e4, we were getting these scenarios with pawn on g6, king on f5, you know, where you can see things working out. But here, like, I don't see a way of working out.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Felix will decide. I mean, he needs to decide kind of soon, but like I think he'll decide on going active somehow. If you can go active, I guess that's another tip. Like earlier, someone was asking
Uh-huh.
about like rook engages. If you can defend actively, you normally should. It's quite
Yeah,
rare to be a good idea to go passive. But rook a8 because black has a good pawn structure on the queen side makes some sense.
but even that, I mean, how bad it is. Like
Yeah,
here, king d6.
yeah, doesn't look bad at all. Like black's kind of got that sweet spot as well, where like any rook c1, there's always rook g8. You get there first.
Yes.
Like if white could get rook g1 now, I'd be a bit scared, but white can never get the
Yeah,
rook too
exactly.
far.
Yeah, if we could just do that, yes. But unfortunately,
Yeah. What's black's next move though? Say I go like a4 or for white. Are you going b6?
b6, yeah.
Yeah, probably actually. e5, just king d7, just yeah. Yeah.
e5 there.
Yeah. He takes
Maybe, I mean,
f6.
I don't know, like, but even
Hmm.
dull stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe white should have gone like rook g1, rook g5, and
Ah, yeah, here, yeah, g1. Yeah, this is more to the point.
yeah. But even if white wins a pawn, it feels
Yeah.
not the end of the world.
No,
Um,
but here maybe rook g6 and this and this.
oh, that's
Even
very
though
clever.
even there,
Yeah. Fortress.
Fortress here.
And just king f8, king f7, king f8.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess white goes like king c3 if black's stuck and b4.
And then b5, yeah?
Hmm.
This gets weird.
Yeah, white still has to go king somewhere before taking on c6.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this would all have been interesting, but maybe slightly unpleasant to be passive as black. So he's
Yeah.
gone rook to g2 and he's
Yeah, so
taken
it
on
is
b2.
okay.
Yeah, this is logical. I like this from Felix. Good decision, I think.
So now either e4 or like rook somewhere, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, those are the only winning attempts. I wanted to say a4 originally, but black can just start checking like rook b3 and yeah.
Yeah.
Now e4, what were we saying? Just rook. I'll just defend it with the king.
We said rook h2, but
Or rook h2, yeah. Oh, rook h2 is fine as well.
I don't think there's anything wrong like with something like king e6.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because everything looks fine. Like it's
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
hard to fully understand. I think this game might end in some perpetual at some point, like
Or
white
repetition, yeah.
repetition. Yeah, just feels like Navara shouldn't push too hard.
I mean, does take plenty of time.
Hmm. No, I'm expecting rook a8 or rook a7 or something.
But rook a7, there is no threat, right?
Yeah, and then king d6 and or king e6 and I don't know, a4, rook b3, king d2, rook b2. You just draw.
Yeah, yeah, you can draw like this, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a logical conclusion, but
But then
maybe.
it's strange. I mean, you don't play this in order to draw like this. You know, I mean, if you want to make a draw, you just swap off rooks on the G file, or you just, you don't allow counterplay, you don't allow this type of
Mhm.
mess. I mean, it's not how you make a draw, right?
Yeah, I think this is purely because he's got white and feels some
Ah,
responsibility.
responsibility, yeah.
And maybe because he's slightly higher rated, so he feels like, okay, I should at least pretend I'm trying.
Yeah.
It's going to be a draw anyway.
Pretending
Yeah,
I'm trying, yeah.
the number of times I've done that in my career, it's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, there've been several games I'm like feeling a bit unwell, and I'm like, oh my God, I've got to play today, and I just choose the most dull line with like swap the queens off, zero risk, but also like zero reward, and I just sit
Yeah.
there like, oh no, my opponent equalized. Oh no, and then okay, draw.
Draw, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, very convincing from Felix so far. Like
Yeah,
not put a
yeah.
foot wrong.
Yeah, he handled this winless, middle game in a way, more or less. Yeah, but okay, an end game
Hmm.
out of the opening pretty well. And even this maneuver, we did not consider knight d7, knight f8, knight e6.
Yeah,
It's
that
pretty good,
was
yeah.
yeah, very nice. Very nice way to just stop the pressure immediately, or if there was any pressure, but
Yeah, there was no any pressure, but it kind
keep it
of
fine.
forced this massive liquidation of the light pieces.
Hmm. And I think style-wise, if Felix can like get this type of game where he can be very direct as black and force the issue and take dynamism out for Navarre, then I think he's got decent chances in this match.
But
I
yeah,
mean, it would a lot will depend on his white games, of course. It's harder to keep control as white if you're being ambitious, but um, yeah, Navarra. I do expect Navarra to switch now, maybe away from d4.
I mean in the next game, yeah. But
Yeah,
do you
or at
think
least
he
yeah.
would vary something with black, or you think with black he would be satisfied with the scenario that he got yesterday?
Oh, good question. The Rigos and stuff.
What goes and stuff, yeah. I mean, Felix can also change. I mean, it's not
Mhm.
like,
Yeah, Felix can change too. I mean, I was watching Felix's recap on YouTube this morning, and
huh?
he was saying he has tried different things. He had the Ragusan as well from the white side against Yu Yang Yi, and he seemed like he had some ideas. So
Uh-huh.
I don't know if Navarro is going to spend time watching YouTube, watching his opponent's recaps. Maybe that's a good way to prep actually to get some insight. But
Yeah,
I think with the Rogozin, there are so many ideas White can try that, yeah. I mean, this line, as you showed earlier, like in this exact exchange variation of the QGD, like it's hard for White to try too much.
yeah,
Um, I expect maybe some Catalan if Navarro is going to stay with D4. Like
yeah.
he won this brilliant game a few months ago in the Catalan, like his immortal game where he sacked. Who was it against? One of the Uzbek players.
Well, yeah, there was something very nice. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and Navarro just sacked half his army and won a beautiful
yeah.
masterpiece. So I think he needs that kind of flexibility rather than allowing Felix to shut him down.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at it, like the Queen's Gambit nowadays, I mean, even Bishop F4
Hmm.
line, which is considered kind of the only way. Yeah, apart from the exchange, even that is being more or less being shut down. Yeah,
Hmm.
like all these ideas in after C5 or even knight BD7, it's very very hard to do anything, and so most people go for the exchange. But then the exchange you get hit with this variation. Yeah, unless you go Queen C2, but then you get like G6 or I don't know exactly how
Hmm.
it was like. How
Yeah,
should I say
G6.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, what do you do against the QGD, right? I mean, it's getting frustrating. So,
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
play E4 on move one.
play
That's
four,
what you
yeah,
do.
yeah. So that's why people play Catalan. I mean, yeah. Okay, maybe
Yeah.
we get a repetition. King D3, Rook E2.
Hmm.
Now King goes back.
Okay, they started repeating. Yeah, there's no reason to repeat the position even once, like since he's got a bit more time on the clock, Navarra. So like if he started repeating now, then
Yeah, he's repeating.
yeah.
Why is he not playing Rook F2
I guess Rook A7 and yeah.
and then doesn't want to go for sharp stuff? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
why risk?
Looks like a repetition. Yeah.
Okay. No, it's been very interesting, like strategically. I do feel guilty that I've kind of jinxed things with our spectators that I came in and it's been a the slowest end game of all time. Yeah, these.
Okay, so Emilia tells us that I mean there's no draw before move 40, so maybe they'll just
Ooh,
have to repeat and claim no
hmm.
offers,
That makes sense.
but they can just claim threefold, yeah.
Hmm. No, I like that rule, no draws before move 40. But yeah, sometimes it gets to a position where it's like, oof,
Yeah, yeah,
you kind of have this mutual understanding that neither side can make progress.
yeah, exactly. Fisher's retort to this.
Ah, no,
You know the story.
no.
Leipzig Olympiad 1960, and he's playing, I think, Padevsky from Bulgaria. And they draw. I mean, at that Olympia they had like a no draw before move 30, maybe that's something like this. Yeah, and he
Hmm.
draws in 20 something moves. Okay, and then he gets an arbiter and comes to him and says like, okay, but you cannot draw. There is this rule, no draw and some. And okay, in typical Bobby Fischer style, he says something along the lines that I think I know better than any rule or arbiter whether the position is a draw or not. And then she just goes away.
Yeah.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah, I understand that,
Yeah.
especially with the arbiters.
Yeah, yeah,
But no,
yeah,
I guess the rules. Yeah, I understand the reason it's there, and it normally does produce fighting chess. And yeah, I don't see any reason not to have the rule really, other than yeah, occasional moments where the players see what's coming and they just have to go through the motions.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah,
But that shows the fans, like that shows like the average viewer, like how the game should end naturally. And
exactly. Yes.
yeah, but
Okay,
yeah, I have. Sorry,
I'm
go on,
getting
Alex.
this like comments in the chat that it says that Felix needs to go rook h2 and it's -1.
What?
Yeah, that's kind of surprising. Yeah, rook
When?
a5 being a blunder and black being better. Well,
Wow. I don't know if we can fact check this. So in which position? Rook to h2?
Probably now or at any point, but if rook a
Or
okay, rook a5, if that was a mistake, you take king c3, and either now or now. Yeah, I mean, because
yeah, but rook a7 and
so let's see when is better, like when the king is on c3 or maybe on c3 because then maybe you get attacked both.
one's a weaker. Okay.
I guess take, right?
Yeah, but
But how is this better? I mean, like here.
I mean this looks like a forced draw as well. And we were saying earlier that white's h pawn wasn't so dangerous in some lines. Black's h pawn is not dangerous at all
No, not at
because
all, not at all.
rook h7. Like,
Yeah, rook h7, it's easily. So how is it like? Should we
hmm.
switch the engine on?
Yeah, I always get the urge as well to fact check when I'm being told certain things, but this does look like a very odd claim. In the chat, it did say after rook takes a5, rook
Yeah,
h2
that's
is
what
plus
I
one,
say in chat. I mean,
but it can't be. It can't have been after rook takes a5 specifically
oh
either.
no, no, no. It says no, no. Okay, now they're again. I mean, I don't know what these guys are just having fun or whatever. It says no. It
Okay.
says my bad, zeros, and he's had the position set wrong. Okay, I mean, okay, we understand some chess after.
Okay. Yeah, I suddenly started doubting everything I know about
Yeah, yeah,
King
exactly. Right,
King
right,
games.
right.
Like
So
especially the H pawn. Like if Black could win the E pawn or the yeah,
yeah,
or
then all
something,
the
then
pawns
maybe.
are falling. Then yeah.
But the H pawn, I was like, yeah, especially with dropping B7, which is
Ah, they
quite.
drew. I see
Oh,
them setting up the board. Yeah, on
okay.
the camera. So it's draw by repetition. Okay, but they
Okay, there
drew.
we go.
All right. So yeah, actually,
Nice.
I mean, not the. I mean, I think okay for professionals, every game is interesting, right?
Hmm.
I mean, for the public, maybe less so, but yeah, I mean, I hope we managed to bring you something interesting to follow today. Yeah, quite a balanced game. Good game by Felix, who I would say fairly easily neutralized Navara with the black pieces, thanks to this game. I mean, the variation of the Queen's Gambit decline that we discussed at length. Hope you guys enjoyed the commentary. David, thanks for being a great guest.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was an honor. Yeah, thanks. So, guys, we'll be signing off, and we will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, 3 p.m., where Felix will have the white pieces for a second attempt in this match. We'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.